Holy land lovers, it's me, your Captain Vasco speaking, and welcome. We're here. Is Friday, April the 4th. We've made it through just gosh, what like a really not great week it's been, huh? For those of you in the future, hopefully a distant enough future that this is some kind of historical document for you. Um, Here in the United States, where I've lived my entire life, the forces of evil have decided to ruin the economy. Just literally put a date on the calendar. And they're like, let me think about this. What if on April 2nd, 2025, we just ruined the whole economy? I don't know, for fun, as a treat. And here we are. And now we will gradually watch the world that was already pretty busted to begin with explode in a slow motion train wreck. I'm like super excited for that, huh? I bet we all are. I bet we're all excited for that because as many problems as America has generated for itself, this one does kind of affect everyone, at least the way that the world has worked up until now. Too bad April 2nd wasn't second April Fools, right? Yeah, if only somehow that was like a thing. Gotta play Life is Hard. Yeah, someone should make Life is Hard the video game, which is like not Life is Strange. Also, thank you, Neko, for wheeling that back around. I made the mistake of complaining about a low-grade medical ailment and invited upon myself the think tank of the internet. Again, not criticizing chat because it's on me to not know, like I know better. I know what happens when you talk to a bunch of people on the internet about anything medical. Partner and I got denied for a home loan because of our complicated credit system. Yep, that stuff is garbage. And the fact you can't have a part-time job and get a loan. I had never considered that. I mean, I can imagine that being like a factor. Like you would weigh that, right? But like I just had never considered that like that would like be a thing that they would just outright deny. But I learned so many things about trying to apply for a mortgage last year, and like boy, I'm not gonna name names, even though I love to, but like the agent who was assigned to manage my mortgage loan inflicted so much psychological damage on me through their behavior and lack of competence. They really, really made last summer almost unbearably torturous. Wow, that was a bad time. It's not supposed to be fun. No one ever said that like applying for a mortgage was fun. But like this lady went so far out of her way to make it from like a bureaucratic inconvenience to like an almost nightmare scenario. Just absolute garbage. The biggest factor among many, but the biggest was that like I had to consolidate money from a couple different accounts in order to reach the threshold like agreed upon for the down payment on this house. Like, there's nothing really unusual about it. It's just that like for one, like I had a not insignificant amount of money, you know, accumulated from Twitch over like 9 years, 8 years at that point, I guess. And like it was in a separate account because it's like way easier to track it for like my taxes and stuff by just like having it feed into that account first, and then I run the taxes on it, and then I do whatever. But like I just kept asking her because like they kept being like super weird about like tracking where money came from because they assumed that I was like a foreign government like doing money laundering or something, which like on some level I get, but at the same time they were like real annoying about it. But like I kept being like, so like we like you and I are on the same page that this money has to move into an account to make a big large payment at some point. When is the time to do that? And she kept telling me like, don't do it now, don't do it yet. And then we got like 4 days out from like closing on this house, and I was like, I'm going to move the money now. And then she's like panicking, like, well, now we have to do all this stuff. I'm like, right. And if you had told me when would be a good time to do this, we would have the time to do that. But you know whose fault that is? Y'all's. It's yours. You are the one who is responsible for that. Because I'm not the one who does this professionally, and I repeatedly asked you for appropriate professional input on the best way to manage that timetable. And your response was, at best, negligent. And yeah, no, like, I'm a petty person, and I hold grudge in my heart for that lady. Like, she did me dirty and, like, almost blew up my whole spot. There was no need for that. I, like, literally had a conversation with, like, my mortgage broker's assistant, like, basically in tears about how miserable this person had made my life over the span of, like, 2 months. Uh, it was a real bad time. I know I didn't go into like a crazy ton of specifics about the process of buying this house. And in the scheme of things, it could have been like a lot worse, which is insane. Like, that's so messed up. But like, yeah, that was not fun. There's like some like real basic stuff that would be like good to know going into it, but like, time makes fools of us all, I guess. She's like, let's not assign blame and focus on the task at hand. Like 100%. That was absolutely the energy that this other party. Like obviously I wasn't gonna get any help from the actual like mortgage manager lady, mortgage agent, whatever. Cause like it was her fault, and like I think she knew it, but like was not gonna accept that blame. But then like I like went to this person who was like supposed to basically be my point person throughout the process. And like I figured like, I don't know, like do something about it. And like that was the energy with which that was received, was like, hey, now let's all be reasonable. It's like this person's like not even in your department. Just like tell her boss to like make her walk the plank or something. I don't know, man. It was awful. It was horrible. You were sure the plague of fart water on your behalf. I mean, she lives in Arizona, which is so wild. Because, like, I was in California at the time, and my mortgage broker's based in Seattle because it was, like, a contact my sister had. And, like, the actual mortgage broker was great, and her assistant was also great. But the loan officer, that was the term. You got it there, Jakey. But, like, holy God. Like, one of the most difficult interactions I've ever had. And I say that in the same year I had to get my like car title transferred from California to Florida so that I could have my car registered in the same state where I lived. That was horrible. That was really horrible. Uh, Sorry that the repairs are still causing trouble. The repairs are done. Now you're moving stuff back in. Well, I wish you the best of luck with that demolition. Demolition experienced some flooding after a big storm last week. And then sometime during this week, I think it was unrelated to that specific storm, but like, I want to say it was in Ohio. I saw like a headline about how like just absurd the rain was there. And I don't have the full context for it, but like, man, everyone be on the lookout for the origami killer for sure, for sure. That would require an expenditure of energy. Yeah, boy, yeah. Don't love me any financial institutions, and yet without them, anarchy, as demonstrated by this week. Anyway, that all sucks. You know what doesn't suck? Okay, there it is. Rosewater, which is much better than fart water. Hey, did we ever figure out if this was a good corner for me to live in? Inventory's kind of in the middle. I don't know. Just like, let me know. Just let me know. I will say I turned down the sound effects slider by like 2 notches since last week. Because when I was like listening it back in the edit, which took an ungodly amount of time, not all in one sitting, which is better than having to like fix desync or whatever. Just never a good question. Some games do have a good corner. Like Pokemon has the game corner. That's a good corner in a video game. It's not relevant or germane to this conversation, but I have been in the Pokemon world. Yeah. So Rosewater. I thought about starting on the home screen for the jumping into the game being a little more relevant, but it turns out that like both the home screen and the screen basically just have some nature noises in the background, and I thought these ones were more interesting, so I just booted up the save file and left it here. Um, so what is Rosewater? If you weren't with us last week, Rosewater is a Western-inspired quasi-steampunk adventure game set in the same universe as Lamplight City, which is sort of an alternate history take on the like roughly Victorian era. It had sort of like a it was set in Lamplight City, which is somehow an amalgamation of like London and like New York and also New Orleans, which was like the source of some confusion and interest while playing through Lamplight City. But Lamplight City is a relatively recent adventure game. I think it came out in the last 5 years or so. Maybe like 4 is a number that comes to mind arbitrarily. And I came away from that experience just like really impressed with that game overall, even though I hadn't really heard many people talk about it. It did have some issues. There was a really annoying character who was kind of central to the game. They had a really interesting idea that they were working with, but unfortunately they wrote that character to just be like kind of insufferable. If they had exchanged that character or even just like reworked his dialogue to suck less, like that would be like an easy A+ game. As it stands, I think it's like a very high like A rating, and I do recommend it to anyone who likes adventure games. Now this game, Rosewater, is not a direct sequel, but it shows so far the same degree of like thought and creativity into like what an adventure game is capable of, and I'm so on board for this. So we play as Harley Leger. She's the woman pictured on the left here. She came to this like small, basically like gold rush town that's slowly dying off as like the gold rush has dried up and people aren't finding gold, which they're calling Aurum because alternate history, they're playing around with whatever. And she came here because she got an offer to be like a reporter for the local newspaper. We don't know a ton about her backstory. It's vaguely implied that she's maybe got like a rough past to some degree. She's definitely like a no-nonsense, capable of taking care of herself lady, which has been really cool. So she came to town, and the reporter like told her to talk to this guy whose name escapes me. But like he is like a sort of famous touring Wild West figure. He's someone who is spoken of in like legends on the frontier, and then he started doing this touring show to kind of show off his like roping and shooting and stuff, which is like kind of analogous to like stuff that actually happened in the time period. Yeah, like Buffalo Bill type. I just for some reason I'm blanking on his name. I'm gonna have trouble remembering all their names for a minute. It's kind of a wide cast actually. But so like we had to go through some adventure game hoops, but we eventually got admission to a show, and I cheered really inappropriately because they gave me the chance to do that, which made me very happy. And then like after the show, we like tried to get like an interview with him, which he actually like agreed to. But then we got sort of caught up in like basically a dispute with some of his like workers on the tour. They like felt they weren't being paid fairly, and so they were just gonna like beat him and his assistant up. So they just like got us involved, so we helped like take care of them. And then he's like, well, you seem really capable. We actually have this interesting like job going on. Like we're gonna head out of town and like find this laboratory nearby where allegedly scientists from the city like hoarded a bunch of gold that was meant for research that got canceled, more or less. There's some backstory to it. It'll probably come up later. But so we came here, and originally this place was all like boarded up, and we couldn't figure out a good way to get in. So we went on a little like side quest to the local fort to try and see if we could get some explosives to help get inside. This guy said he was like friends with the general overseeing the place. And that guy's like, well, maybe I can help you out if you like help me deal with these natives. They like kidnapped one of my men. And basically we like looked into that, and it was garbage. They like were doing raids on the locals, and so the locals like caught the people who were doing crimes and violating a treaty. And so, they kidnapped us when we went to look into it, and then like we demonstrated that we were like reasonable people and not trying to do raids and other criminal activity. And we actually like agreed to help them by raiding like a military convoy that was going to bring like guns to the fort and let them do more bad stuff. So we like opted for this stealth plan where we like created a blockade for this like not particularly heavily armed stagecoach, and then we like just snuck a bunch of stuff off it and managed to like learn some information. Still quite mysterious about exactly what's going on in Rosewater, and I think that that mystery is something that we'll explore. But first, we have to explore this laboratory and hopefully find some Aurum, aka gold. Hoarding research funds, doesn't that sound familiar? I mean, like the backstory was a little more complicated, where it was sort of like this guy was like doing some really advanced work with this like steampunk world's version of electricity, and there was like a real big whoops, and like a bunch of people died, and then like the like city government was like, so we've decided to ban that research. But like he already had like a research grant and he had like that money, and he just like took it out of the city and like went to this abandoned laboratory. Well, it's abandoned now that guy's kind of disappeared. Like I said, I was out of the room and can tell you were talking about Bill. I might have liked that game if Bill just got exercised. I mean, he leaves in the end. Spoiler alert. What does that mean? I don't know. Doesn't actually spoil what happens in the game. It just suggests that there's closure, and that's, you know, that's something. There's also one of the most... We've joked in the past about this game World's End Club that I played on stream, where like we have all collectively decided that the canonical ending to that game is what is clearly meant to be a bad end, where all of the characters die in a helicopter accident when like a meteor shower hits the earth spontaneously, just because like that branch of the story needs to end, so like meteors just fall out of the sky, which is really funny. And yeah, like there's like a absolute canonical like nightmare end to Lamplight City that I won't spoil, because that finding that was one of the most entertaining parts of that game. So let's go in live. I have no idea what's going to happen when we go in here. Maybe there's gold, maybe there's a monster, maybe there's a monster made out of gold. It's pretty lab in here.
Well, slap my behind and call me Betsy.
Okay,
Not
Betsy.
sure what I was expecting to find, but it wasn't this.
It has been completely ransacked.
Still, there's gotta be some indication of where Clark took his money. Let's take a look around. But watch yourselves. No telling what any of these doohickeys might be capable of.
Oh yeah, one thing I didn't touch much on. So we've basically started to accumulate what I think is literally meant to be a posse of like different characters. And it's got like some, I think, like soft RPG elements. Like basically, I think this game strives to be a little bit like Unavowed, if you are familiar with that. It's another adventure game I played in the past that I also highly recommend. In that game, you would like literally, it was like a series of like self-contained sort of stories of like this group of people who investigated like supernatural happenings in a city. And like before the start of each like case, more or less, you would be able to choose up to like 2 companions from like the roster of people who you like interacted with to like help you, and like it would slightly adjust the nature of how you would be able to solve puzzles based on like what skills you had with your characters. I think this game is doing something similar. So we've got like our Buffalo Bill type. This guy is a revolutionary. He's like fighting for injustice for the people of, what were they calling it? New España? Basically like Mexican revolutionaries, I think, is what we're going for. I'm not a history major. I'm not a history buff. I'm certainly not regular buff. And then we have like a woman who was like trained by the local doctor in the town Rosewater. And she's like acting as a sort of like modern medicine woman for like the native tribe, and she seems like she's on board to help us with stuff. And then this Wild Bill guy has an assistant who's like a trick shot. So we have like a bunch of people with various like Western skills, and I'm really interested to see where that goes. But like one thing about, so we came in this place and he's like, wow, this place has obviously been completely ransacked. I'm like, someone knocked a stool over. I don't know. This to me does not read like ransacked. This definitely kind of just looks abandoned. Like, if we didn't know what it looked like before, I don't know how we would look at this and know it was ransacked. It might have just been that, like, not a lot of equipment was stored here. It's kind of hard to say, I think. I don't know what's in this cage. It looks a little ominous.
A wooden mannequin in a cage? I have so many questions.
You sure you want them answered?
Despite all my rage, I'm still just a wooden mannequin in a cage. And it appears to have, like, an arm coming out of its head? That's what it looks like to me, anyway. Maybe the arm is just separate, and it's, like, overlapping the head in a 3D plane.
At least Dr. Clark practiced fire safety.
Did anyone else hear that?
I can't see through. The window is too grimy.
Oh my god, that's a window? I thought that was like a blackboard with like smeared chalk on it. What happened to that? Oh, one other thing that I thought was fun. I know I'm just talking about the game and not playing it, but our revolutionary friend here got thrown out of a window, and we had a choice to like help him or just sort of like ignore him. And like the comedic beat really just suggested that we should like leave him behind. But like now he kind of doesn't want to be our friend, and I think it's kind of awesome. Yeah, that poor window has seen some stuff.
Some kind of console. Seems to connect to a few things.
What an unhelpful observation. Ooh, 9207.
Is this some kind of combination or code?
I mean, my gut instinct... Oh, hey, wait a minute. The TT-180, that was supposed to... Hold on, I have a letter for this. Can I access my inventory here?
February 12th, 1850. Upon hearing, when they, after
It's in his PS, I think.
With warm regard. P.S. How you managed to rig a TT-180 console to control both your equipment and door mechanisms still baffles me.
I wonder if that controls the inner door, because I've been looking for a way to do this from the outside so I didn't have to blow up the building, but I'm not sure that was like an alternate path choice thing. My gut says that the most obvious reading of this is that I need to set like these dials to 9, 2, 0, and 7, and obviously I have to like find a dial here because this one looks kind of busted. But once I do that, that might open this like inner lab door or something.
What in the ether is this thing?
I wouldn't get too close.
I would get precisely too close.
I can't make heads nor tails of this chicken scratch. There's about 2 inches of dust.
Hey, real quick aside, I think it's really cool that, like, I feel like modern adventure games have, like... This feels anecdotal, but I'm going to say it anyway. It feels like modern adventure games are, like, almost, like, 50-50 in terms of, like, male and female protagonists. I'll admit that I haven't seen, like, a gender-neutral one or anything like that, but, like, it's still a big step in the right direction from just, like, video games always having dude protagonists. I don't know what it is about narrative games that I think make that a little more likely to happen. Also, at some point this week, I, like, accidentally stumbled across another new adventure game that I think came out this week that I'd never heard of, which is about, like, a mystery on a train. So we'll have to do that one, too. Because mystery, adventure game on a train are, like, 3 of my favorite things. I've seen gender-neutral protagonists in indie titles. Were any of them, like, point-and-click adventures? I mean, like, for example, in Citizen Sleeper, there were, like, at least 2 major gender-neutral characters, I think. Hey, it's a lunchbox.
This Clark fellow was into some strange things, wasn't he?
I'm starting to understand why he chose to do his work out in the middle of nowhere.
I'm so intrigued by this reaction. I mean, I get this sort of being off-put by, like, not understanding it, but, like, I don't know. The way they talk about it almost suggests that they, like, know specifically what unsavory thing this doctor was up to.
This may have
They
held
clearly
something
don't, though.
interesting once, but now it's just lodging for spiders.
Oh, man. Let me tell you, So it's been like summer temperatures the last like week or so, like 90-ish degrees and like humid here in Florida. It has reactivated the wildlife that had chilled out over the winter, which I'm not looking forward to that being like, I'm gonna guess like 2/3 of the year. I don't know. It backed off in like September, October. So maybe it's not as bad as that.
This must be where Clark parked his rear during his experiments.
There's some cool like dust particle effects that seem like really localized around this chair. I don't know if that's meant to emphasize it or if it's just supposed to look cool.
This is where all the cables wind up.
Any drop iguanas over the winter? No, I haven't seen iguanas around here. Read a news story recently about some like new invasive kind of like lizard species in like the coastal areas of Florida. That's fun. Definitely saw like a lot of like little like salamanders skittering around. They were like a real nuisance when I first moved in because it's, you know, just like a lot of like in and out with like contractors and like moving people and just getting stuff set up. So like, you know, a few of them got in. That was not my favorite. But like they had not been like super active. And then I like went out like one day this week to like check mail and like check on some outdoor apparatus attached to my house. And like I saw like 8 of them and like 2 wasps. Gonna get some wasps around here though. Well, that's interesting. Another
Some kind of
widget.
power meter. Never heard of an ampere before.
Ampere? I hardly know
These
here.
meters seem
No, that doesn't
connected to
work.
whatever's behind the panel.
So I need a coin or a screwdriver. Let me pull on the
I
screw.
can't remove it with my hands. I'll need a tool to unscrew it.
I will say my mom said at one point she saw
I bet the machine's
like a
guts
small
are
lizard
behind
fall
this
out of a
panel.
tree on a cat, which sounds completely
I bet the
insane.
machine's guts are. I'm guessing this thing needs to hit.
Yeah, so that probably comes from the thing over there. The cables go into this. They feed power into this. There was a cool like machine puzzle in Lamplight City too.
I can't begin to fathom what these contraptions are for.
Nothing of use to us.
Says you.
Anything interesting in there?
Not really. Probably why they were left behind.
This case reminds me of that trophy case that you have to like smash in Siberia 3. It was like finally the place to use the knife after he tried to use it to solve so many other problems, and it didn't even make sense for like knife to break glass. One of the many things about that game that annoyed me.
I can't.
Click that one. How do I get this?
Looks like a toolbox. What's it doing all the way up there?
It's also interesting that there's like roof access here.
Way
Reach
too
for
high for.
Want me to give you a boost?
Nah, I still couldn't reach. I'll think of something else.
I feel like she could reach. Also, like, I understand that the stairs don't go all the way up, but like, if like one of us stood on this and the other boosted, like we could easily get that from here. Yeah, the solution is
Maybe
chair,
this will
huh?
help.
No, this isn't.
Then again,
Whoa!
maybe not.
That got me pretty good. What I was gonna say is, what's interesting about that is that it does demonstrate that this is a game where you need to have a reason to do something before your character will necessarily do it. Some adventure games are like that and some aren't. Some will just like let you do a seemingly arbitrary action first, and sometimes you need to like figure out why you would do that weird action before to let you do that. I forgot I have lockpicking tools that I stole from the sheriff. And then I gave him like a doctor bag. Did a classic Indiana Jones swap. Okay. So this has no hitbox.
Not
Look
much
at
left.
this.
Some books and a broken device.
How do you know it's broken? Maybe it's supposed to do nothing.
What
am
in the
gonna need a-
ether is?
I wouldn't get.
I am gonna need that knob though.
There's about 2 inches of dust.
Search it.
Empty. Not really surprising.
None of this has a hitbox, huh? That's pretty wild. Look at the door.
I can't really see through the porthole, but it looks dense in there. No handle. Must be some other way to open it. Looks like it's connected to the door somehow.
And that wire runs to the console back there.
Won't do us any good if there's nothing powering this place, though.
That's true. But if I could set this device correctly, does it have enough current to run all the other things? Zero.
One of the dials is missing. Just my luck.
Look, maybe in 1955 you could just go to the corner drugstore and get a dial to your aethericity oven that controls the doors and the security. But here in alternate 1890, it's just a little more difficult.
Looks like some type of cannon, and it's pointing right at the cage.
You know, I hadn't interpreted that as a cannon. I kind of thought that was another pipe, like these ones over here, but that's troublesome. Well, I'm happy you have a chance to eat dinner demolition and that you are here. Both of these things. Look at this flag I picked
Fort
up.
Beaumont's parade flag, looking worse for wear.
I would not call that a parade flag. I do wonder, loudly do I wonder what I might be. Let me talk to these guys.
Can we talk?
What's on your...
Can I borrow that arrowhead? Is there a world where I think I can use the arrowhead to turn the dial?
Might I borrow that arrowhead for a spell?
By all means. Maybe it'll bring you some luck, too.
Any clever ideas to get to that confounded box?
Oh,
Not too many,
confounded.
I'm afraid.
A delightful turn of phrase. It had occurred to me to shoot the box down. I wonder what he says if I suggest it.
Hang on, I've got an idea. Why don't you just shoot the box down?
Beg pardon?
Let's put that gunslinging know-how of yours to work.
I may be a showman, but I ain't a performing monkey. Besides, I never perform sharpshooting tricks without a crowd.
It would be so funny if the solution to this puzzle was to just get a bunch of people to come out here to watch him do that. Like, he's willing to do it, but only with an audience.
This place sure is something, isn't it?
I admit, I never gave much credence to all that ethericity business, but seeing all them contraptions and appurtenances, let's just say it's given me a new appreciation for Clark's tenacity.
One thing worth noting, too, I don't know if I mentioned this specifically, we've seen a few
jabber.
examples of this now to varying degrees, but this game does seem to encourage, like, multiple types of solutions. One thing that's been kind of interesting is we've seen multiple scenarios where we can just, like, bribe someone to, like, not have to do a puzzle, which I think is actually really clever in a way. It's kind of just like a hint currency that you're just like,
Hey,
I don't want
Phil,
to do this one.
let's
Here's
talk.
2 of my
What
hint
about?
dollars.
Clark's lab is really quite something, wouldn't you agree?
Yes, something unnatural, something perverse. What possessed him to undertake this research is beyond me.
It's interesting. Like, I feel like I would expect these kind of reactions from someone, like, overtly religious, and I don't think any of these characters have really demonstrated themselves to be. It says, new TTRPG character idea. Can only perform magic if at least 10 people are watching. Yeah, but then they should also get some, like, really good bonus to, like, doing the spell. Because, like, he can do it. He just won't do it without an audience.
you think of any way to get that box down?
I'm afraid reaching high things has never been my forte.
What a weird thing to say. I have many skills, but reaching high things isn't one of them. Are you calling yourself short?
How did you become so proficient with explosives?
The science of it always fascinated me. Even as a child, I read a great
Should I
deal
worry?
about mining and demolitions. The lessons were invaluable. So, when my parents sent me to university, I studied civil engineering. Most people do not realize just how much care must be taken when dealing with dynamite.
You ever seen the show Lost? Like season 1 of Lost?
Right?
You're dead, Justin. You also slain by how specific of a weakness that is? Like, oh, I just can't reach high things. It's my one weakness as a human being. Can I? Yeah, look at it.
That's one sharp point. Jake ought to thank his lucky stars it didn't go a few inches lower.
You can't either. You're 5'4". But like, if you were like talking to someone that you basically just met, would you like list that as like one of your like great weaknesses?
That won't fit there.
Okay. Well, then this arrowhead's not doing me much good at this point. It feels like I should be able to see. I guess maybe the contact is within the dial, so maybe I wouldn't. Otherwise, I wouldn't need the dial. I don't know. Ooh, use arrowhead as screwdriver. True. Probably true. Don't know if that does anything until I've solved this thing, but true. I was expecting coin because that's the cliche, but you're right. Arrowhead could well be for that purpose. It just has like kind of a dial shape to it, so my first thought was dial. It was like makeshift dial.
Let's see if this works.
That's not the one I clicked on. Pre-rendered animation.
That did it.
Alright. That's a
Looks
little
like
worrying.
something chewed through it.
It kind of just looks like a centipede lives in there. Got new glasses yesterday? Oh, that's exciting. I assume you mean vision glasses and not fun drink glasses or something. They did add some like Eevee-themed drink glasses to the Pokemon Center shop this week, and I thought about it. And then I was good because I'm still in a deficit on my frivolous spending money from last week.
No wonder the power's not getting through. This wire's all corroded.
I mean, that's definitely not the main concern because we're currently not feeding any power to it. We gotta tape this up and then replace this, and the middle one I think is okay.
These meters are...
I do love, like, device puzzles. I always think of, like, the Myst games when it comes to device puzzles. Other games will include some, but it's just such, like, a hallmark of that series. Which is why, like, Quern had a bunch of them, too, because Quern was, like, very deliberately trying to be Myst-esque. A Myst-like, if you will. And then she says she can't... She doesn't know what it is. Then she says she can't understand... what did it say when she searched here? Couldn't find anything?
empty. Not really surprising.
Empty. Okay. Myst game didn't give you hardly any hints. No, like, yeah, the Myst games assume... Well, and the Myst games are kind of interesting, because, like, sometimes if you, like, read through a book you found, like, in an alternate universe, like, behind someone's toilet, like, it'll tell you, like, exactly how to do a puzzle, or, like, some really important clue to do it. But, like, if you're just, like, exploring the world, like, it's entirely possible to solve a, like, high percentage of those, like, machine puzzles. But, like, yeah, like, the machine in and of itself doesn't give you much, and it's not like there's ever, like, instructions posted on them or whatever. Should do the Riven remake someday. I probably should. I don't think I've actually played all of the Myst games. I think I've played, like, 1 through 4. I think there's at least 5 mainline Myst games. I did also play Uru, which isn't good, and, like, was meant to be a massively multiplayer online Myst game, which, like, inherently doesn't make sense, and I don't know why they even tried it. But, like, even on launch, no one was playing that game, so it was like a ghost town to begin with. But like Riven, of the ones I've played, Riven is my least favorite, which I know is a hot take because Riven, a lot of people think is the best one. I just like the open world nature, and part of it, in fairness, part of it is the fact that like you had to switch CDs if you had to go between islands. If you're like trying to figure out what to do and just like trying to explore available space on the islands or whatever, then it'd be like, great, let me change CDs like 4 times. Cool. But like, yeah, it's just like you're right in that like the misgames rarely give you much context or information about the puzzle you're trying to solve, but like when added to the relatively open world of Riven, it felt like a often frustrating combination to me. Also, thank you for the 79-month resub, Neville. Thank you. Wish they had made the Mist movie. Same. Who was it? I just read about that I hadn't heard anything about it until whatever studio was working on that went under. And it was like, yeah, they were working on a Mist movie. I was like, that sucks. Oh, speaking of movies, did anyone see the new Naked Gun movie trailer? I think I audibly gasped to no one when I realized that it was like, I had heard vaguely that Liam Neeson was going to be a part of a Naked Gun reboot. And if you don't already know this about me, I love Liam Neeson. Huge Liam Neeson fan. But what I didn't know is that that was being overseen by Seth MacFarlane and Akiva, what is his last name? One of the Lonely Island guys. Like, that's such like an insanely like Vasco-specific collaboration of artists. And the trailer looked really good. Like, oh, I'm so here for it. Going on the little screen. Oh no, Neko has shrunk me down. That's not me in a nutshell. This is me in a nutshell. Help! How did I get in this enormous nutshell? Why do we even have this? Sorry, I'm Austin Powers posting. I think I have to go somewhere else. As much as I have a general idea of what's going on here, I definitely don't think I have everything needed to like advance this place.
The good doctor was pretty self-sufficient out here.
Confused that there's a new Naked Gun after all this time. What's interesting is like they didn't decide to go full reboot. They referenced the fact that like the old one existed in the trailer. You're sorry, Vasco, you can no longer reach high places. Oh, that's rough. I'll have to add it to my several other weaknesses I have because I'm not like a cool adventure game character capable of everything, including kleptomania. So can I leave this wretched place? Where am I permitted to go? Was this here before? What is this? Oh, it's a snake oil salesman.
Dios mío, what is this abomination?
Howdy, folks. Interested in learning about Coaltit's Miracle Elixir?
I'm sorry, who's Miracle Elixir?
Of course we are, little lady.
Then step on over here.
I don't recommend calling a woman that word, she said. I didn't have time. I was waiting for the cutscene to play out, so I couldn't do the call and response shaky. But you said you wish you were taller, you wish you were a baller. Would you say that if you had a girl that looked good, you would call her? Is that something you think you would do? Demolition asks, if you were in an adventure game, which character archetype would you be? I mean, it's reductive to say, but I feel like a really high percentage of adventure game characters fall into like obvious like sociopath category. I'm not sure what distinct like subcategories of distinction you're making. Yeah, that name is rough. I mean, I bet she got teased a lot in school, in like a small schoolhouse with like 5 other kids because it's the West.
Some of these bottles are starting to collect dust.
That's a good sign.
I'm sure there's a lesson here about the laws of supply and demand.
The name was Coaltit? She's like, who wants to try Coaltit's Miracle Elixir? And I'm like, I'm gonna need a description on exactly what that elixir does.
Professor Xander Coaltit III. Good medicine for good people.
She's the 3rd Coaltit? Man, that's unfortunate. I'm so sorry for all y'all. That's okay.
My guess is the primary ailment these folks cure is swollen purses.
Ayo. Zing. Yeah, Xander Coaltit is definitely a name.
Boy, oh boy, I sure wish I was you.
Go
Beg
on.
pardon?
Why, today's your lucky day.
Is that right?
Yes, sirree. You're just in time to experience the travesty of Xander Coaltit III's Miracle Elixir.
Hang
What
on.
now?
Oh, dang. I mean, the majesty of Xander
Trajesty.
Coaltit III's Miracle Elixir. My name is Olivia Coaltit.
I'm
and
so
I'm
sorry.
Here to answer
Wait, who's
all
Xander?
questions about this evolutionary new medication.
I'm torn between getting them to tell me about the elixir because it could be useful for solving some nonsensical puzzle, or this just feels like the thing that's most in character for our character, so much as this game lets us do roleplay.
Look, kid, we're not born yesterday, townies. You can spare us the song and dance.
Oh, leave her be. I think she's charming.
Thanks, mister. My daddy says that to get anywhere in this business, charm is financial.
I think you mean essential?
I know what I mean.
I know that you know what you mean, but when you say all the wrong words, I don't know what you mean. I'm guessing Xander Coaltit is her dad or her grandfather? I don't know, man. You related to Jem? Are you related
wouldn't
to
happen
Jem?
to be related to a kid in Rosewater named Jem, would you?
No, ma'am. Far as I know, I'm a lonely child.
God almighty, lonely child.
Say, do you know anything about that lab over there?
No, but I did hear a big boom coming from that way.
Yeah, don't worry
Is
about
you're
that.
doing?
No.
Oh, come on. You can tell
No,
me.
definitely not.
I'm no tattler.
I said no. Now stop asking.
Fine, jeez.
Fine, I'll bite. Tell me about this Miracle Elixir.
Glad you asked. From the maker of the wildly popular Coaltit's emulsified soporific comes Coaltit's Miracle
That's
Elixir,
you-
the finest, most
what?
effective tonic in Vespuccia. Guaranteed to treat and cure all illnesses from arthritis to yellow fever. And for a special limited time, we're selling it for the treasonable price of just 5 crowns.
That does sound pretty treasonable. Oh my god. I can literally just pay 5 crowns. There's gotta be a way I can negotiate that down for sure. For sure.
Sounds pretty miraculous, all right. What's in this elixir, anyway?
Oh, I don't know. Daddy's the one who makes it.
Not a great
But I
start.
know he gets a secret ingredient from some lady named Ethel. He always talks about her when he makes a new batch.
It's got alcohol in it, which I probably need for something, probably.
5 crowns seems a bit pricey. How about I
Probably
give
moonshine.
you 2 instead?
Sorry, ma'am. Daddy told me not to hackle.
How about I exchange like a dictionary for a bottle? Like, I'll go buy you a dictionary and you can spend your time here in the middle of nowhere reading it so that like you don't like critically fail your language check every like other word.
I'm not in the market for your elixir right now.
Okay. Come back when you change your mind.
I'm definitely gonna wait to spend my cheap money on this until I actually know I need ethyl alcohol or whatever.
Why are you parked in the middle of the desert when there's a town full of potential customers not 2 miles from here?
Oh, I'm just minding the wagon while my daddy's doing his business at the fort. But he told me
Is
to
that code
stand
for
out
using
here
their
and
bathroom?
attract anybody who might come by.
And has anyone else come by?
Oh, sure. Tons of folk.
I know.
Only one who didn't stop was a feller on horseback. Too bad, 'cause the guy he was hauling looked like he could have used some elixir.
No, that's our friend. She probably can't read. Man, if she could read,
I
she'd
think
be
I've heard it.
It was
devastated right now.
Special offer. Limited time only. 1 bottle for 5 crowns.
Maybe I can do like sleight of hand or something.
Can we talk?
What's up?
Any idea how to start up that generator?
Afraid not. These doohickeys ain't quite my bailiwick.
Enough jabber.
That's a
Let's
sentence.
push on.
I got no squawks, no
Hey,
beefs.
Phil? Let's talk.
What about?
Any idea how to start up the generator?
Cloth can sometimes be used to wrap damaged wires for a temporary repair. As for the dirty one, a solvent like acid or alcohol is good for removing corrosion.
Is that true? Acid, I sort of had a sense. Alcohol really do it? If so, I could just buy one of these bottles. I mean, that's 2 down, but like that still doesn't do me any good until I have the dial, I think. I guess I don't know what that device does. Well, maybe it's the thing feeding power to the TT-180. But I still don't think in and of itself that does anything. Unless it somehow repairs the stairs, which it shouldn't. It doesn't seem like it makes any sense. Now keep in mind, I only have $20 US, by which I mean Vespuccian crowns, VC.
Hey,
What is?
did Captain Stokes come back here? We lost sight of him after the attack.
He's here. Don't think he's up to receiving anyone, though.
Carry on, soldier.
Right.
Alright, well at least we ruled that out. And we don't have to deal with the super loud gunshot sound effects for eternity, which is nice. I mean, do I have to spend 5 of my cheat dollars? That's so many. It's like a quarter of my cheat dollars. That's terrible. Yeah, Anime, welcome to the stream. How's it going?
Miss Coaltit.
Yes, ma'am?
It's just that name, though.
So,
See?
I'm not.
Okay.
I think.
It would.
Alright, let me go back to the lab. I want to see what I think would happen if I spent 5 cheat dollars on this. So I can't go back to town or anywhere else, right? Like that's all Fort Hitbox. Yeah. I'm probably just gonna need to buy it, which is a bummer. I wonder if there's ways to make money in this game. There's nothing in the rules that says a dog can't play basketball. You know what I mean? Playing AI Limit, a Souls-like made by China. I haven't heard of that. Does it live up to the hype of... Who's the one who made Lies of P? Was that Korea? For some reason, I thought Lies of P was really interesting. Okay, can't use my cloth to try and wipe that window. It's just gonna live in misery. Why does it sound like there's a distant laundry machine?
There's a thought, but this is way too big.
That's curious. Hey, it's all like tattered and stuff. Don't you think we could just like tear a shred off this to do whatever? Worst part is it probably isn't even a Miracle Elixir. Right? I bet the cowboy hat comes right off. I think that was Korea. I remember Lies of P was a pun that didn't work here because it was also apparently to be read as Lies of Blood in its native language. That makes sense. It always did sound real janky in English, but I don't know, it worked. Not much hype to it because it has an art style similar to Code Vein. Like I should know Code Vein. Alright, okay, listen. I'm making the save file as a precaution, just so I don't lock myself out of the game somehow. But I just should probably buy that thing for $5. We're having router trouble because it's a Spectrum router. That will do it. Spectrum router, not so good, unfortunately. Sorry that you have to deal with that, Jakey. I mean, it just seems so clear that... Is there... some part of me really wants to think that there's a clever way to, like, negotiate out of it. Oh, yeah, I have a hitboxes finder. Yeah, I feel like I've done all those. Code Vein reminds you of Code Lyoko. You know what reminds me of Code Lyoko? Katina and I have been playing Split Fiction recently. And there's sort of like a... Like, Split Fiction is a game where, like, two writers are, like... They like, sign up to this, like, futuristic company that's supposed to, like, put them in this weird machine that, like, visualizes, like, their story idea and makes it into, like, an immersive experience or something. But, like, obviously something weird and shady is going on. But then, like, two characters, like, accidentally end up occupying, like, the same spot in the brain machine. And, like... there's sort of like a neutral zone between like trying to like delve into both of their thoughts, and it looks like extremely Code Lyoko. It looks like Sector 5. Yes, he did a review of Split Fiction this week. I haven't seen that. Would be good for your partner and I. Yeah, I mean, if any of you have played It Takes Two, I'm pretty sure it's the same people who did It Takes Two, and it has like all the same strengths of that game. I will say this: I personally like the story of It Takes Two better, but I think like graphically and gameplay wise, Split Fiction's probably better by most metrics. Decided to stop playing the Souls-like because you found a good stopping point in the stream was starting to distract you. Thanks, I think that's a compliment. I'm going to take that as a compliment. If you want a cute game, Paleo Pines is free on Pine Gaming. It's Dinosaur Animal Crossing. I mean, Animal Crossing isn't my speed, but I got to say that sounds pretty rad. You know what? Okay, hold on. Go back to where I'm at. I don't know if this is a possible thing. Can I combine inventory items in this game? Use with.
I hope this isn't considered treason.
Okay, now that I've made a piece of fabric small enough to probably tie that wire connection off with, I'm going to use my save scum save and spend $5. You're pretty rad. Thanks,
Yes,
I appreciate that. Whether or not that's meant as sarcasm, I'm just going to interpret that as a nice thing. Hey, you know what? I was thinking I could use some Coaltit Miracle Elixir. What do you all think?
So, about that elixir.
See? Told you you'd change your mind.
All
There's a
right,
Frazzle
give me a bottle.
Yay! Thanks, ma'am.
I missed my $5 US already.
How about your friends?
Whoa, I got more money somehow.
We'll share.
Oh, okay. If you change your mind, you know where to find me.
Did I get a cut
And
of
if
the
we're
raid
gone
from
by
the stage
then,
wagon?
well, best of luck to you.
I think I've heard enough for now. We'll just be going.
It was a real pressure.
My lord. Okay, that's fine. Well, I feel less bad about spending $5 hint dollars if I gained a mystery 10 hint dollars that I don't remember acquiring. It had to come from the raid, but I didn't think we were, like, splitting the money. That's interesting. Petra. So our actual currency are just crowns? I think they're just crowns from the Vespuccia, which is, instead of America, named for Americo Vespucci, is named after the last name. Oh,
Hey,
accidentally quick to talk
Right.
to him. All right, let's use things on the generator and see what happens. I'm pretty sure the answer is not much, but if it doesn't do anything, then we're not really going to make much progress. So I'll probably be surprised in some capacity. Okay. Select. Tie. Ooh, didn't realize there was dialogue there. Oh, smell. Hey, guys, smell.
Woo! That'll put hairs on your chest.
If only we had a dial. I know, it's killing me. Actually, I do want to say what it says.
Professor Xander Coaltit III's Miracle Elixir. Guaranteed to cure what ails you. I'm sure that's the case if what ails you is sobriety. Let's put some of this elixir to good use.
I would not know that's a thing to do. I don't love getting, like, really overt hints in an adventure game necessarily, but, like, I'm not sure I would have gotten there without, like, you know, rubbing everything on everything and feeling like I had burned through all my options or what have you. So I can flip this. It might do something. That looks bad. That looks ominous.
Hot damn!
It's my catchphrase. So there's a point early in this game where like something cool happens to you and you pick one of 3 things to say, and as Neko sussed out before I did.
To get the door open.
I wonder if they found anything inside.
Anytime something good happens from then on, your character says that same thing again. That looks
I'd
bad.
say so, yes.
We are up and running.
Impressive.
This technology is amazing. What did this Clark fellow intend to do with such power?
I'm beginning
Taxes.
to wonder about that myself.
Oh,
Nice
you could get
job
inside.
getting the lights back on.
Get everything squared with the Aurum?
I think so.
They're adequately supplied. They should be well off for some time.
Well, I suppose we should see about...
Hello? Is someone in here?
Damn. Looks like we've attracted some attention.
Is the
I have
doctor
come in
trapped in his
peace.
lab?
Please, make yourself known.
Guess we don't have much choice.
Who's this guy?
Hail!
Oh, this was the tinfoil hat guy, right?
Goodness, I wasn't expecting so many of you.
And we weren't expecting anybody at all.
And just who might you be?
I am Paul Burkhart,
Oh.
emissary of the Luminarians.
The
The what now?
We are disciples of Dr. Clark,
Oh, God.
protectors of his artifacts and legacy.
Ah, jeez.
Kid. So you must know all about him then.
Quite so.
I'm still not sure why our characters are so convinced that there's like a bunch of stuff missing from this lab. He is the prophet. He definitely has a I am the prophet vibe, right?
Does that include knowing where all his things have gone?
If you seek enlightenment, we will be glad to share our wisdom with you. But let us all return to the commune. We must
Oh,
not
good.
defile the sanctity of this place. Come, I am eager to learn about you all.
This is like a low grade criticism I have of this game. Is that like
Welcome to Chrysalis, friends. Feel free
All
to
right.
explore, converse with the residents. You'll find we have much to offer. We'll speak again soon.
What an accommodating fella.
that's a
This
super
is
weird
all
way to
very
behave.
strange.
Yeah, I'm with him.
You all might be into this porqueria, but I want no part of it. I am going back to the lab.
Suit yourself.
Ooh.
All right, let's see what we can learn about where Clark's stash
That's
might be.
interesting.
But let's not overplay our hands, shall we? If anybody asks, our interest is purely academic.
I'm really not a good liar, Mr. Ackerman.
Shoot, nobody's asking you to lie, sugar. Just withhold certain details. We're interested in learning about Clark. That's all there is to it. Come on, Danny. Let's see where our friend's gone off to.
I know lying doesn't come natural to some. For others, it's like breathing. Don't take this amiss, but if you'd like some pointers, sometimes it's good to be able to keep certain things to yourself you don't want everybody and his uncle to know.
Oh. All right.
The comment I was going to make before is like, there have been a couple of times already in this game where you have no way to know what like the scope of what you're doing will accomplish. We're just like, all of a sudden it's like, oh, and now we've like spontaneously opened this entirely new environment. And like, I don't know how to put, I mean, it just feels kind of inorganic, right? Like we solved that puzzle and like nothing about that puzzle is like, and now like a guy will appear and like open up new environments that might give you like new items to solve puzzles or whatever. It's not like a huge deal. It's not, but like it feels very like early 90s adventure game where like if you play through, you know, you play through it as a kid or whatever, and then you like play through it later and you're like, that doesn't like actually make any sense. Okay, this is interesting. We're gonna give her a pointer on how to lie, and I don't know if this will be important. I feel like it could well be relevant. So our options are, we could tell her to believe what she's saying, when in doubt change the subject, or always maintain eye contact. I feel like these are all relatively viable. I think the one I like best is the first one, believe what you're saying. Because like to me, part of the trick, or part of a trick, is that like, if you just phrase things carefully, you can say something that's definitely not a lie, that also doesn't mean the thing that you know the other person will interpret it to mean.
Above all else, be confident. If you sound like you believe what you're saying, they will too.
That's another way to interpret that.
You have a lot of experience in these matters.
I'm curious, this is like maybe the second or third time that we've had a question that like potentially establishes a sort of like backstory to our character. I don't know if the game is like tallying these into something that would like affect the story later. I'm gonna go with the middle one. I only lie when I have to.
Maybe, but I only lie when it's necessary.
You find it necessary to lie?
Sure, at times. To save my skin. You don't?
I haven't needed to.
Lucky you. Hope that keeps working out for you. But if anyone asks what you were up to the day when, say, a wagon got raided outside Rosewater, a little capacity for dissimulation might be handy to have.
Your advice is appreciated. I'll just see what I can find out on my own.
So we've split into 3 groups. That is curious.
If the smell's anything to go by, that crate's full of fertilizer. Not very intimidating. No wonder the crops are bare.
If the crops are bare, shouldn't they be feeding them salmon?
Certainly colorful. Seems like they're pretty self-sufficient here. They have an automated irrigation system. Pretty ingenious.
It seems loud.
Suppose that's where the animals are kept. Kitchen to the left, rostrum to the right.
Is this the same hitbox as the barn?
Suppose
the weather
that's
vane?
where the...
Yeah, it is. Oh boy, there's like a lot of stuff happening over here. Why are there silhouettes of people sweating butterflies?
Something about that makes my skin crawl.
Hey, is anyone else enjoying that there is a tiny weather vane on the bottom of this other weather vane?
I hope I'm not interrupting anything.
Ah, Harley. Miss Larkin here was just telling me about this fascinating place.
Hello and welcome. It's so nice to have visitors.
Thanks, but I was hoping to have a word with Jake in private.
Of course.
What's on your mind?
So, what have you picked up from these fine folks?
This
I can still hear
stuff
you.
is much more complex than I thought. Seems our friend Dr. Clark may have been on to something after all.
I'll just leave you to it then.
Font of knowledge. Weather vane had a child. Don't speak to me or my weather vane son ever
Hey,
again.
Danny?
What's going on?
my god, I can ask him so much.
So, where did you learn to shoot?
I used to know some folks that were handy with pistols. They gave me
Outlaw
a few
types?
pointers and I just sort of picked it up.
So, what's our friend on stage been jabbering about?
What hasn't he? This guy makes Jake seem like a silent monk by comparison. Anyway, it's
Sick burn.
mostly been about Clark, his etheric research in New Britannia, how he built his lab out here after the Expo disaster. Excuse me, miracle. That's
Oh,
all.
good.
He
Calling
says
it a miracle.
Clark transcended. I'm not sure what that means.
I don't
That
know, but
sounds
doesn't
bad.
sound good.
I agree.
What's your impression of Chrysalis?
Well, it's peculiar. Everybody's got a job to do, a way to help. Nobody's left out, and that's nice. But all this stuff about etheric beings? It sounds,
Crazy?
You said it, not me. Anyhow, I wouldn't mind hanging around a while.
I'm interested in joining this cult.
I was wondering if you might help me out with something.
What?
There's a toolbox inside Clark's lab that's out of reach, and I've had no luck getting it down. Think you might put your pistols to the task?
I could do that. Yeah, you want to go right now?
Yeah, let's go right
Yes,
now.
let's head over now.
Sure thing. Just lead the way.
I'm a touch
Phil,
worried that doing
you
this
are.
will like damage
Had
the
enough
contents of the
those
box, but
luminous lunatics too, did you?
it did seem like the most obvious
Entirely.
solution.
Danny's come to help get that box down. That's it, up there.
Right. You might want to stand over on this side, Phil.
Nice shot.
Thanks, Harley. Happy to help. So, what's inside that box that's so important?
I don't know, my
Guess
lunch?
we all get to find out together.
Look at the box. Look at the box.
There's more than one way to get a box open.
I saw like a meme image today, like a little like webcomic thing, and it was it's labeled like new unboxing video or something like that, and it was the characters from the movie Seven, with like, you know, the package from the end of the movie Seven. And they were about to find out what was in the box. And I think that YouTube would have an issue with posting that, to be honest.
Well, anything good inside?
Not really. Just a wrench and this odd dial thing.
I specifically
was
wanted a
worth the
weird
trouble
dial
then.
thing.
That was good.
The wrench is a
practice, at
bonus.
least. I'm heading back to Chrysalis. See you both later.
It's so funny that like he just shows up. It's like, well, I'm basically an inventory item. I'm gonna go stand in like an idle animation cycle for a while. All right, so I guess the expected outcome of this is that if I've interpreted this password thing correctly, that I'll be able to open the door. I originally thought this would have a different function. 9207. Flip it.
Phil, you might wanna...
Okay, not the expected result.
move. Are you alright?
I think so. The cage seems to have absorbed all that energy. Just warn me before you try that again.
So, this console operates equipment by setting the dials in a 4-digit sequence. That means we need to figure out the right code to get the door open.
Not the expected result.
No handle. Must be some other... I can't see through. I can't make heads nor tails.
I like that this
At
guy's
least
still hanging
Clark
out with
did his
us, even though he
testing
doesn't
on
want to go
mannequins,
to the
not
place where
people.
we're all like
As far as we know.
spending our time. think I'm going back to the commune. I was hoping that would be more immediately useful. I don't think I know what I would do with this wrench for now. So let's just leave.
I will stay in here.
I will stay here doing my own idle animation. We made like a
Whatever turning on that generator did, I hope it's not permanent.
We had like an Aurora Borealis field that like hopefully isn't giving us all cancer.
All right then.
So where is the commune? Interesting stuff just randomly gets added, and the wagon's gone. Okay. All right, so back to Rostrum. Let's listen.
My friends, today we give thanks for our manifold blessings. On this day of celebration, the Evocator's Day of Transcendence. And why do we celebrate today, on the 8-month anniversary?
That's a
Because
great
one
question.
is nothing special. One is an isolating, selfish, lowly number. But 8 is perfection. 8 is infinity. 8 is the flap of the butterfly's wings. On this day in March of this year, exactly 8 months ago, the luminous ones called Evocator Bennett up to join them in the luminiferous ether. In so doing, they showed us the path of light, where soon we all shall follow. Now our soul sibling Bennett dwells among them in the etheric realm beyond this earth, in a transcendent union of cosmic harmony and peace.
That sounds kind of ominous, but it could still be better than the Shadow Realm. That seems like a bad place to hang out. Now, I'm kind of curious. A lot of emphasis was placed on that seemingly arbitrary date. Makes me wonder if I'm meant to extrapolate like a 4-digit password from that. I don't remember what month it is currently. Now, hang on. He said 8 months ago it was March, right? And I do think, yeah, I think it's supposed to be fall, so I guess that means it's like November. So we need to know like today's date, and then we could do like 3-something-90 because the year is 1890 or 3-8. Did he say the date was the 8th?
Here in Chrysalis, at the Evocate, and on the other side, the luminous ones are waiting to welcome us home. When he first arrived here, in that twice blessed year, for never forget that 8 is the most sacred number, Evocator Bennett perhaps did not yet know that he was building a temple. But that is what it was, my friends. A temple, a lighthouse, a shining beacon in the dark. A divine instrument that would pierce the cosmic veil, letting the ether's light shine through to guide us. Calling the luminous ones. Calling us here. Calling us home. We will never forget the momentous occasion when this holy work began. When Evocator Bennett came west after the Lamplight City miracle to break ground for a new laboratory. And he raised a light to the heavens and cried, "Let me in!" And 2 years later, his call was answered. And he was taken up into the etheric realm. And oh, friends, it is joyous. The ether is a realm of pure thought and light and love.
A world of pure imagination.
There we are freed from these coarse material bonds. There we are not women and men, not young and old, not poor and rich, not white and black and brown. There we exist as pure souls, glittering beings of brilliant rainbow color. Our bodies are as the chrysalides of butterflies, curled up tight in these fleshly shells. Contained within each of us is our true etheric form. And believe me, friends, it is beautiful. You are all so beautiful. In the ether, we must finally emerge from our cocoons and fly free. Free among our soul siblings in the company of the luminous ones. 2 years ago, Evocator Bennett called them here. And 8 months ago, his call was answered.
I've had about as much of... He does go on, doesn't he?
I can't replay it. I wonder if that's meant to be a clue or if it's just meant to be like lore or whatever.
Reliable water supply is everything out here.
Guess I'll go to the kitchen now. What do you think's happening up here? Someone's playing the old Portal?
My, that's quite imaginative.
You see, the farmers put on space goggles and went through the portal and then became mid-transition, like Sailor Moon transformation characters.
I think I saw this model in the latest Bulls Clearage Frontier catalog. Fancy. Quite the contraption.
Isn't that Terrence the Tractor from Thomas the Tank Engine? Yeah, something busted with this wagon?
This isn't much use with a wheel missing. Handle still looks good, at least.
Think someone will be mad if I just, like, take the handle?
I'll have this handle off in a jiff.
Just gonna watch me do that, huh? Alright, well, it's mine now. Why do we need this?
Formerly used to pull a wagon.
Guess we could slot it into, like, a lever somewhere?
Excuse me?
Ah, hello. You must be one of Miss Redbird's companions.
That's right. Harley Leger.
My name is Evan. Evan Holbrook. Welcome to Chrysalis.
Evan was just showing me the cookhouse. You know they grow or raise everything they eat here themselves?
Well, mostly. Sometimes we need to resupply from town, but we aim to be fully self-reliant. Our dedication will be rewarded with bounty.
Paper towels? Let's ask about Dr. Clark.
Did you ever meet Dr. Clark?
Alas, no. I hadn't really heard of him before the expo. I was looking at the wax anatomical models in the medical marvels exhibit. But my wife said they turned her stomach, so she went to see the etheric pavilion instead. I don't think she really knew who Bennett Clark was either. It was just something to pass the time.
And then she got
Only I
obliterated.
just knew what a significant thing was about to happen.
I don't want to piss them off, and I know that they think of it as a holy thing, so I'm going to avoid saying the disaster.
Clark's demonstration?
Indeed. The miracle that drew aside the veil and took my wife and the other 14...
Oh my god, he did die in the accident? Woof.
I only regret that I wasn't there, so I could have gone along with her.
That's cool, buddy. You have fun with that.
Do you know where Dr. Clark disappeared to?
Evocator Bennett didn't disappear. He transcended.
Transcended?
He passed through the etheric gateway and joined with the luminous ones in the cosmos.
Is that a legendary artifact?
Oh.
Oh.
Exactly what was Dr. Clark researching?
Ethericity, of course.
Of course, but what about it? Energy sources? Industrial applications? What?
Miss Leger, I couldn't begin to tell you.
I'm a
Whatever
chef, Miss
reasons we
Leger.
have given the public, the bankers, the professors, and what have you. His true purpose was to open the way for humanity to pass.
All right, we're covering a lot of ground here.
It wasn't easy. He spent 2 years in that laboratory before transcending. Soon the day will come when we all can follow him.
You know, I bet I can actually figure out what today's date is by looking at my own journal.
So, are you the biscuit roller for this community, or what?
Not quite.
Is that a job?
Everyone in Chrysalis does their part. It's my day on the rota to fix breakfast.
Do you have a doctor?
We have a few skilled in healing, yes. I do wish we had more knowledge of agriculture. Our crops haven't been...
What about demolitions? What's wrong with the
You
crops?
said your crops weren't doing well. Why not?
Getting the irrigation in this year saved some of the crop, but we're facing lean times. We simply must find a way to grow enough to feed everyone.
Have you tried getting good, Scrub?
What's your story, Evan? How did you join up with these folks?
Well, like many of the others here, I was living in New Britannia. My wife was there at the etheric demonstration at the expo. I thought I'd lost her forever. But emissary Paul found me and explained how she hadn't perished, merely transcended.
He found you?
I wanted to throttle him, actually.
I can understand that reaction.
And then I did.
I realized that in my grief, I had become blinded.
Oh, I am so sorry.
Ah, don't be. One day I'll transcend too, and we'll be reunited in the ether.
It was good talking to you. I'll leave you up to it.
It was
Bye
talking
for
to
now.
you.
See you later, Harley.
Oh, you're just gonna stay here and talk to that weird guy? Alright.
Well, well, if it isn't my old friend.
The Defiler returns.
This guy's tinfoil
Hey
hat
now,
guy.
don't
Similar
put
outfit.
britches in a twist.
You're a guest of Emissary Paul, so I'm obliged to welcome you. But if you continue casting your shadows of discord over all that is bright here, there will be consequences.
Can I just point out that I, like, fixed your prophet's, like, transcendence technology?
Now just where do you get off saying I'm casting shadows of discord or whatever?
Yeah,
I caught you
what I said.
trespassing outside the laboratory. Then your friend blasted the door off.
It was all in the name of research. I'm just as interested in all this as you.
You've a peculiar way of showing it.
I don't see you turning on the technology, dingbat. You ever meet Dr. Clark?
Did you ever have a chance to meet Dr. Clark?
No. Nor did I desire to.
You're a weird
No?
guy.
Ethericity is not a power to be trifled with.
Why are you here?
Meeting someone who treats it as a plaything.
What's your whole... Hey, guy, what's your whole entire deal?
Where did Dr. Clark end up?
Not where he should have.
Do you think these weird signs are like a puzzle cipher? Why like yellow, red, blue butterflies?
Do you know any details about Dr. Clark's research?
He was toying with fire, pure and simple. He may have been inspired and driven to his work by the luminous ones, but he was only their tool. He did not acknowledge their undeniable glory, or
Oh,
show
boy.
them the proper respect. He took a battering ram to the door of heaven. When they tired of the noise, they whisked him away inside the gates, while the rest of us still wait outside.
So
Oh
what you're
boy.
saying is, you don't actually know.
I've underestimated you. I didn't think there could be someone more arrogant than Dr. Clark.
Glad to impress. Yeah, so yeah, there's something really, like, I get that a bunch of these people have all just sort of, like, committed to a sort of cult-like way of thinking. That I can wrap my head around. But this guy is super weird to me. He's like, the guy that this cult is based around is like a heretic, and I don't believe in his stuff at all. However, I do randomly believe in one random subsection of what this cult has taken as teachings from that guy's experience. So I live with them, but I hate them and everything they stand for. Like, that is an unbelievably hot take, my guy.
What's so special about this place that they've got you standing guard?
This building houses our collection of artifacts salvaged from Dr. Clark's laboratory.
Oh, so you're the ones who looted the place.
Probably use that stuff,
We
huh?
did not loot it. We saved important items from obscurity and decay.
So are you the ones who boarded that place up? And if so, why? Is he secretly Dr. Clark? I don't know, maybe. Seems unlikely. Just seems like a weird way to spend his time. Like, I don't know what benefit it would be to him to lie about that, but stay here?
Think I might take a quick peek?
Absolutely not. Outsiders are forbidden.
Hey, I should ask my trick-shooting friend to solve this puzzle with gun. Can I join the Luminarians? That sounds like a band.
So how does one go about joining your little club?
You think if you joined us that I would just suddenly allow you to enter?
Sure.
Yeah, I
you
play
said
adventure
only
games.
Outsiders were forbidden.
Nice try, but not on my watch.
Quick, take his watch.
So what brought you to Chrysalis?
My personal business is none of yours.
My
Touchy.
business. Personal business.
What if I brought you a new artifact for your collection?
Then I would be very surprised. We've already retrieved everything of value from the laboratory.
Even from that locked room?
That room is inaccessible. Do not even consider attempting to breach it.
I'll leave you to your guarding. Try not to die of boredom.
Such good friends. Let me talk to Lady
Nadine,
Redbird.
could we have a word?
Of course.
You enjoying yourself here?
These are good people. I'm glad we met them.
You don't find them a bit...
Where's our knife is always a
I'll
good
admit,
question in these
I
games.
don't quite comprehend their philosophical ideas, but they've welcomed us with open arms. The least we can do is offer open minds.
I actually genuinely like and appreciate how, I don't want to say naive, but how like intensely like optimistic and like not jaded she is by comparison to like basically all the other characters, at least in our posse, but like a significant number of the characters we've met in general are all fairly cynical. But like she's just sort of like, it's nice here. I like it. It's like, I mean, it's kind of weird, isn't it? It's a little weird.
Any ideas as to how to get that fellow over there away from his post?
Be confident?
Oh my
Afraid
God.
this situation's a bit more complicated than that. Still good advice, though. I'll leave you to your conversation.
What if I... Can I make like a spear? Out of my like handle and arrowhead? No, that's not what we're doing. It's worth a shot. It would be really funny if the goal was to construct a spear and then just like javelin him and then just walk inside. And the chef just like doesn't care. Not his job. I don't think I could go in the barn. I feel like I've garnered
Suppose that's what the
surprisingly
animals-
little from like exploring this place so far. So I do wonder if I'm meant to extrapolate the combination to the door there from all this jargon. Still not sure what to make of this like butterfly thing. Can I talk to
Begging
her?
your pardon.
How may I help?
What is it you do around here?
Plenty. I help in the fields and in the kitchen, but my particular gift is keeping Chrysalis beautiful and its people inspired. All the murals and
fairy?
paintings you see around the commune are my work.
And a
Okay.
fine job you've done.
Why, thank you.
Very good. I'm gonna go with must have been a lot of work. I don't get the impression that we would appreciate this art in a meaningful way.
Must have kept you busy for a while.
Quite. There's still so much I'm looking forward to doing.
I've noticed you all sure are fond of butterflies.
What better creature to symbolize transcendence? Like butterflies,
Changelings?
we too will undergo a metamorphosis,
Ditto.
pass through the veil into the ether, and join the luminous ones. Not only that, their wings have 8 sections, and they flap in a figure 8 pattern.
Does that
Is that true?
mean something?
Evocator Bennett's sacred number, of course.
Sacred number? What does that mean?
The number 8 is very important. It appears constantly in the evocator's writings, and Bennett himself was born on the 8th of August, 1788.
That's quite a coincidence.
Coincidence
Doesn't
is
that mean he
mere
was
illusion.
100 years old? Doesn't that mean he like transcended at 102 years old? That's more than 4/10 of old.
What's the meaning behind those shadow paintings?
We commemorate those who have transcended, and those who will.
Hence the butterflies?
Very astute. Yes, the butterfly represents the immortal soul, the essence of a person in their fullest flourishing. The butterfly is pure potential, contained within those who have not yet transcended.
The butterfly is a
Once someone
metaphor.
has passed into the ether, it is released and flies free.
Why, that's mighty poetical.
I can see that you have quite a bold, brilliant butterfly stirring within you.
You don't say.
Buy him dinner
You
first
see
or something.
that, do you?
If you permit me, it would be my honor to paint it. Only if you're willing, of course. Everyone's journey to transcendent readiness is unique.
Perhaps you could tell me more about it once Harley's done talking.
With pleasure.
Why do I get the feeling that that'll be some, like, grim ritual that, like, extracts his butterfly and colors it and kills him in the process or something?
How did you end up here in Chrysalis?
Ethericity always fascinated me. I joined up with the Luminarians when they were passing through Rampton on their way west. We
Rampton's a
founded
fake
Chrysalis
place.
here, close to the Evocator's laboratory, and where the veil is parted.
The Veil?
The boundary between our world and the ether, the realm of the cosmos, home of the luminous ones. The barrier is very thin here. Can't you feel it?
There's definitely something in the air.
Is it the smell of manure from the other screen? Definitely earned his transcendence by then. Yeah, I'd like to think if you manage like 102 years on this earth that you get to transcend as a cool butterfly or whatever.
Did you ever meet Dr. Clark?
I did. Once. Such a brilliant mind. We didn't speak long, but I felt as though we'd conversed for hours.
He signed my chest. I was a science groupie.
Do you have an idea of where Dr. Clark might be currently?
Of course. He's with the luminous ones.
Pardon?
The beings on the other side of the veil. The ones who...
That sure sounds like Space-Time 6 to me. That's all I got to say about that.
Dead?
Not dead. Transcended. Eternal. You still have much to learn. It's good you're with us now. Everything will become
It's a real good
clear
thing.
soon. Trust me.
Oh, so she has a picture in her head of her face painting a butterfly on him. That's so good. Do you mind if I like paint the magical butterfly within you and then just does like some really crappy like traveling carnival face paint on him? Like, yeah, all right. Sure.
What exactly was Dr. Clark's etheric research about?
Truth.
Lovely sentiment, but could you be a bit more specific?
He sought to connect us with the world above, to unite us with the luminous ones.
Was he part of
succeeded
Team
in
Rocket?
Not only opening the door, but stepping through and crossing the veil. He showed that the way is possible. Now
Is the door
we all
literal
must
or a
learn to
metaphor?
follow.
All right. Thanks for the chat.
Be well.
Don't wander too far now.
Ooh, why did my diary update? That's interesting. That's not the button for that, Vasco. Forgot I had like lockpicking instructions at the front of my journal. This is slightly less egregiously loud now. Can add numerology to the list of Luminarian obsessions. They go into raptures over the number 8, which they deem sacred, and how it looks like infinity and a butterfly and so forth. They're especially fond of butterflies, flowers, and rainbows. Their pretty butterfly gardens thrive while crops a body could actually wither in the field. They say Dr. Clark built his lab here 2 years ago in a twice-blessed year and was conducting some kind of exotic research up until he transcended and was never seen again. My journal doesn't have dates in it then, huh? It's an old newspaper, right? Yeah, 1847 is a while ago. My letter...
October
Sorry,
25th, 1850. I'd like to extend an invitation to meet. How soon can you arrive in town?
Wait a minute. How? What?
October 25th, 1850. Dear Miss Leger, thank you for submitting your sample. Your writing shows real potential. I'd like to extend an invitation to meet with... How soon can you arrive?
I feel both confused and stupid, and possibly also insane. I have it in my head. I thought at the start of the game it said that the current year was 1890, which seems consistent with the notion that 2 years ago would have been a twice blessed year, because that would have been... Well, I guess that would be 1888, which would be a thrice blessed year? But how could the letter offering me a job and telling me to come here be dated 1850? That would be a huge discrepancy. That wouldn't just be like, I got this offer a little while ago and I came back around. Like, that would be like 40 years off. Like, I got this letter like 2 years before I was born or something. I don't know how old Harley is, but like, doesn't seem that old.
They seem enthralled by Paul's ramblings. I've had about as much... Hey.
What's going on?
If you had to pick a 4-digit number sequence that was easy to remember, what would you pick?
Suppose it'd be something important? A date, maybe? Or a memorable year? Never really thought about it.
I'll leave you to the lecture.
Yeah, it feels like I might be overthinking this. Let me go try plugging in some stuff at the lab. Start with like 1888 and go from there. And we also have 1788, which is his birth year. Easy to get off that.
No good. I guess those dials aren't set up correctly.
About 1788.
Not Clark's birth year. Guess that would have been too obvious.
I'm gonna try going off of... Let's assume that the date in my letter is the current year. It would be a twice blessed year in that case because it would be 1848, which is 2 8s, they're just not next to each other.
Hot damn.
Nicely done.
Well, nothing horrible came out.
I really thought it was
we?
1890. Don't know why that number is in my head.
Santo cielo.
What in the ether happened in here?
Pumpkin.
I do not know, but I am not going in any further.
So weird. This is very ominous.
I've never seen anything like that before. Have you?
Nope, and I never want to see anything like it again.
Just like a control panel over here. It's kind of covered in
Completely
vines.
overgrown.
Probably for the best.
There's like a...
That mannequin's head fell over here and has
Oh.
been wrapped up by a tomato vine.
Why not? I'm glad you're pleased with our catchphrase of hot damn, Neko. It does feel... I mean, I feel like there could be some more fun options, but I do feel like it's the best of the three that were presented to. I feel like there should have been just like a straight yeehaw. That might have been good.
This might be of interest to our friends in Chrysalis.
This would be an artifact from the locked room.
Ripe and juicy tomatoes. How can they grow without any soil?
Easy. Devilry.
Completely overgrown.
Probably for the best.
Can I have one of these
squashes
gourds?
look healthy. These squashes look healthy.
I don't know why that seems like a slightly funny thing to say.
This pumpkin is thriving, despite being sealed in here with no water or sunlight.
There is something very unnatural about all this.
You're just saying that because of the devilry.
These mannequins are disturbingly lifelike. This one's posed like it's reaching for something.
Clark's research involved playing with life-size dolls? Que locura!
I'm not sure that, like, lifelike is the first description that comes to mind regarding these particular mannequins.
This one's just staring at his buddy. This one seems to be the happiest of the bunch.
How can you tell?
It's the only one smiling. This one's missing its head. I wonder how that happened.
Probably the devilry.
Never finding out.
This guy's a very inquisitive soul, I've learned.
Some huge green bean pods. These ripe and juicy tomatoes.
I know, I'll cut this vine with my arrowhead. I know, I'll cut this vine with the lever, the handle I took off that wagon. I know, I will use head with mannequin. I know, I will go give the mannequin to... Actually, no, let me talk to, Phil here first.
Hey, Phil, let's talk.
What about?
Hang on. You have a university education?
Of course. Does this surprise you?
No, I just didn't think a revolutionary would have a degree.
Well, I do. From the Escuela Superior de Ingenieros in Madrid.
Right. Carry on.
I will stay in here.
Yeah, I figured you would. I could use like a fast travel postcard or something like that, some such. Just because it takes like multiple screens to get out of here. Back to the commune. Who do I think most gives a crap about what I've just accomplished? I feel like the game has hinted it should be this guy, even though I don't think he would really be that impressed. I found a mannequin's head covered in tomatoes. How do you feel about that?
At this.
What? Where did this come from?
Have you seen this
Clark's
before?
lab. His test room, to be precise.
You were able to get inside?
Sure was. It was full of plants and all kinds of weird equipment. The ethericity seems to have boosted the growth of the seeds somehow. It's like a jungle in there.
I cannot condone your reckless disregard for the sanctity of the laboratory. But
I get that a lot.
I also cannot deny the importance of this discovery. I must alert Emissary Paul immediately.
Yes, you do that over there with your weird hunchback walk cycle. What's up with you? Have fun. I'm gonna ransack the museum.
I'd better be quick. No telling when that chump might come back. Just another one of Clark's weird toys. The things some people will keep for posterity, I'll never understand.
I don't know that I'm looking for a specific thing right
bearded
now.
Guy. The plaque says Galileo Galilei.
I'm just gonna poke this.
Didn't do anything. Probably for the best.
Smell this?
Damn, That's got a kick to it. It's full of cloudy orange liquid.
He invented Tang.
Doesn't seem to be working. Nothing's hidden behind it. Doesn't seem to be working. Let's see. Books on science, engineering, astronomy. I'm sure this is all fascinating, but it's not going to help me any.
Oh, yeah, this is kind of...
Bottles of different colors. Nothing helpful. Bottles of...
Don't want like a bottle of
full
red and a
all
bottle
kinds
of white?
Liquids. I'd rather not know what they are. It somewhat resembles a telegraph, but what is this box for? The New Britannia Gazette. The lead article is about the upcoming Lamplight City Expo. Interesting
awkward.
how the follow-up is nowhere to be found.
It's in my inventory, don't worry about it.
A bunch of scribbles documenting the effects of ethericity on plants.
Wait a minute.
Some notes documenting the effects of ethericity on animals. They're signed by a Juliet Montgomery.
Weren't those notes in Lamplight City?
Must be nice to actually be able to understand this stuff.
Ooh, let me mess with this.
No effect that I can see.
Oh, mess with is such a good action verb that more adventure games definitely
Clock's
need.
not running. Must have something to do with that machine.
There doesn't appear to be another screen.
That didn't do much. Looks like a
No.
smaller version of the power generator in the lab.
How many of these cabinets open?
Lots more books. Mostly about technical subjects. Nothing that would help me locate Clark's stash, though.
I should have known. Get out of here this instant, degenerate! Don't you dare try any more trickery, or Emissary Paul will hear of it.
Damn. So much for that. I need to get back in there. Maybe one of the others will have an idea how.
I like to imagine that she just said that out loud in front of the guy who told her not to come back here.
Nadine, could we have a word?
Of course.
I was able to get into that building over there, but our hirsute friend caught me before
Quite
I
the
could root
vocabulary.
around much. Don't suppose you've got any ideas how to get back inside?
I'm
Be
sorry,
confident.
but I don't.
I'll leave you to your conversation.
I think what I was meant to do probably is search more of those cabinets that didn't immediately strike me as the most important thing in the room full of like gadgets and notes and things. And then like probably close them all before leaving if I like already knew what I was doing.
Hey, Danny?
What's going on?
That fellow we met outside the lab caught me snooping through Clark's thing. I need to get back inside the building. Any ideas how?
Oh, right. He came over to show something to the emissary. If you already distracted him, I'm not sure how you could do it again. Maybe one of the others will have an idea?
I'll leave you to the lecture.
God, it must be miserable to just listen to that endlessly.
Sure. What's on your mind?
I think I've found a promising lead. There's a shack on the other side of the commune full of things salvaged from Clark's lab. I managed to sneak inside, but that first luminarian we met caught me before I had a chance to find anything useful. Any suggestions for how I might get back inside?
That feller's been a real thorn in our sides, ain't he? I
Use
believe the
gun.
time for talking may be over. We'll need a more elaborate distraction. I'll get to thinking of one once Miss Larkin's done with me. She offered to paint my shadow, you see.
And how long will
Is that
that
a
take?
euphemism?
Yeah, shouldn't be more than a couple hours.
I'll just leave you to it then.
I mean, I guess I can go ask Phil. Why would I go back to the same place because I'm not paying attention? I know I answered my own question, but why? Why be like that? No, it Generator's off. I guess because I'm now directing the electricity to keep the door open?
Hey, Phil?
What up?
A bunch of Clark's things are collected at the commune. I managed to sneak in, but I got caught. Got any ideas how I can get back in?
It just so happens I do.
Good.
I have had a look around, and this machinery is quite unstable. With a few more items, I could finish what we started with the door and send this whole place up in smoke. That would give you time to search, no?
It would, but it seems a touch extreme. What would you need exactly?
Well, mainly fertilizer and flammable liquid for accelerant. I can construct a detonator out of scrap I found, but I will need something to serve as the plunger to set it off.
Well, I'll consider it. Could you remind
What's the second
Some
thing? You need fertilizer?
Some flammable something I can use.
Got it.
Flammable liquid. I guess I still have the alcohol. All I'd have to do is get fertilizer from the commune.
Right.
Now, I'll admit in a perfect world, that would not be the way to proceed. However, I did get caught.
There's more than one way to...
There's some part of me that wants to save Scum, but I really feel like we're on the cruise, you know? You know what I mean?
I will stay in here.
I'm gonna get some fertilizer and, blow some things up.
This had better work, Phil.
I was gonna joke it'd be funny if she casually took an entire bag, and yet, she didn't.
Yep, that's fertilizer, all right.
Just always want to click the commune, and I don't know why. Let's check this plunger.
this
It's one I'm
work as a
least sure of,
plunger?
but I think this is fine.
Yes, I think so. Thank you.
Here's some fertilizer for you.
Ah, excellent. Thank you.
Relatively large quantity of fertilizer for you.
Here, can you use this as an accelerant?
Definitely. Alcohol this potent will be very effective. Perfecto. This is everything I need. Meet me outside in a quarter of an hour. And prepare for a show that will make Jake envious. All right, everything is prepared. Take one last look.
Well,
When you are ready, just say the word.
I hate to do this. I wish there had been another way.
No turning back now. 3, 2, 1.
this is problematic.
Carajo! That was beautiful. Now, I suggest you get back to the commune and find whatever it is you were looking for.
I suggest that it would be much smarter for me to already be there.
All right, let's try this again.
It's
Nothing but
fascinating
empty vials and flasks.
that it's left in exactly the same state as it was when I left here
Lots of
before.
extra glassware. Nothing I need. Even more books in here. Some novels, poetry books, and what's this? Looks like a diary.
God blast it.
Nice to know Clark had other interests.
Actually, though, can
Nice
I
to know-
close these? Oh. Seems like you would get caught either way then.
The final entry is bookmarked with a letter. Definitely worth a read. But first...
March 13th, 1845, I am embarking on a new project, which means a new journal. Here I will record my notes and observations from a series of experiments on the generation and application of etheric energy. I believe it can be profitably harvested from the very air and harnessed for an immense number of beneficial uses. I see the streets of Lamplight City aglow, not with the smoky flicker of flame from burning costly oil, but with bright etheric light from lamps that never need fuel. I see compact, efficient etheric engines replacing the bulky, limited diffusion generators that drive Her Majesty's airships. I see our nation's mills and manufactories humming, kept in motion not with the sweat of the brow or the belching fumes of coal fires, but with the clean, abundant power of aethericity. The applications are limitless, but before they can be realized, I must turn my attention to the practical problem of the efficient generation, not to mention safe, reliable storage. Even if energy can be summoned from the atmosphere on demand, some intermediate storage device will be necessary to absorb the excess and release it in a controlled fashion. Absent such a mechanism to modulate the unpredictable flow of raw power, the effect would be akin to cooking one's breakfast by exploding a stick of dynamite. Wait, is that not... Are we not all doing that? Tomorrow I must visit Cunningham's to order glass tubes and ampules, as he always takes weeks to deliver. I hope he also has magnetite on hand in sufficient quantity so I can start experimenting with it right away. But I will try the iron filings first, if not. Down to the last spool of copper wire. Must pick up more. And I must stop by the offices of the Gazette soon to circulate an advertisement for a new assistant in the weekend edition. Much to do. January 19th, 1846. Some days the work has been maddeningly slow, and some days it seems we advance by leaps and bounds. I am kept too busy to think often of writing in this journal, yet I have made notable progress. I have built the first prototype capable of harvesting ambient etheric potential and channeling it to produce energy, in this instance heat. There is as yet no flow regulation mechanism, so the entire energy yield feeds directly into a copper heating element suspended within a water-filled cylinder affixed with a thermometer. The top is left open to vent steam, which is frequently produced in abundance. In future, naturally, the entire heating coil steam tube apparatus, what a sentence, will be replaced with another assemblage capable of converting the aethericity into useful energy to generate light, say, or mechanical motion. The prototype does not appear capable, as yet, of generating heat beyond the material's tolerance. Interesting. No, I know exactly what that refers to. However, I have reached the limits of this particular configuration without hazarding a face full of superheated steam and shattered glass. Coward. I cannot say with confidence even now that a random harmonic flux in the atmosphere could not cause a sudden spike of aetheric energy that would produce such a result. Now that the principle is proven, we must experiment with introducing a regulator to throttle and control the flow, for both safety and practicality. There remains the not inconsequential matter of funding. It has taken longer than anticipated to reach even this early milestone. Beyond the initial outlay for equipment, I had not accounted for the necessity of covering rent on the old Turnbull Street storehouse, nor the wages of my assistant Frank, spelled weird, for a long term. I have already removed from Mrs. Gladstone's modest but comfortable lodgings to the garret over the storehouse I see. It's a weird way of saying it, but he had a place to stay, and now he just, lives at his office. A move which has proved economical as regards both money and time, if rather less satisfactory in the matter of board. I fear I did not give Miss Gladstone's Sunday roasts quite the credit I now realize, in want of them was their due. I understand the sentiment of that, but that also feels like a weird way of putting that. Nico observed, breakfast doesn't taste right without dynamite, especially cereal. Amen. I had some cereal today, and I don't know what I would do if I didn't have dynamite handy. Despite the savings thereby afforded, my meager reserves will soon be depleted at this rate, unless I can induce a benefactor to relieve me of these pecuniary obligations. November 6th, 1846. At Frank's instigation, I have embarked on a program of fortnightly public demonstrations of our apparatus. A brief lecture on the principles of aethericity, followed by a practical display of the generator's operation, is offered to all comers, or as many will fit within the storehouse, free of charge. I confess that at first I regarded this pageantry as a distraction from the work, a senseless bit of spectacle to dazzle the simple tradesfolk and laborers who occupy this district. However, Frank persuaded me that attracting an investor would require some measure of transparency as to my research. And while it is true that most who attend my presentations come seeking thrills rather than any intellectual or financial engagement, putting on these shows has allowed word to spread, and some are beginning to take notice. Last month's published proceedings of the Vespuccian Royal Society of Natural Philosophy contain a mention of rumors of research into the generation of etheric power by a Mr. Clerk of Turnbull Street. I leave aside that they misspelled my name and omitted my title. Not everyone can pay society dues and have their credentials indelibly observed, but they know enough of my work to have it spoken of in those lofty chambers of knowledge and opportunity, and that is what matters. And since they did accurately remark the address of my laboratory, perhaps one or two of those learned gentlemen might be persuaded to visit me and see my work for themselves. I shall pen a letter to the Society Secretary at once. February 2nd, 1847. With the introductions and encouragement lately extended by Dr. Nethersoul, that is an obvious villain name, are you kidding me? Second Vice President of the VRSNP, I have secured connections sufficient to gain my place in an etheric pavilion to be installed at the Lamplight City Global Expo this very summer. Not only will I have the opportunity to demonstrate my etheric generator before a grand public audience as a condition of my participation, Harmon and Grove, chief sponsors of the exhibit, have tasked me with consulting on the design of the pavilion in terms of requirements as to technical equipment, layout, accommodations for visitors, tens of thousands to be expected, and so forth. There is so much to be done to prepare. Tuning of the flow regulator remains the utmost priority. We have some months left to resolve the superheating issues. Have high hopes for the finer gauge electrum filament. So I'm guessing, based on what we've read so far, that the incident that happened at the Lamplight City Expo was that there was like a flux in the atmospheric pressure or whatever that caused like a surge in the machine because he didn't figure out the regulation in time. And it mostly has worked fine, but then at a really inopportune time, he turned on the machine and like the weather went bad and made a super death ray. It strikes me that whatever investments and explorations these firms have heretofore conducted in the sphere of aethericity, there are really very few individuals to whom they might turn who have any measure of practical experience extending beyond the realm of pure theory. And yet, I had to go begging hat in hand to them for the opportunity to take part in their exhibition. Absent my generator, which can produce energy at a fraction of the cost of electricity, and with none of the polluting infrastructure, there would be nothing to present in their pavilion but promises and fairy stories of a future not yet in evidence. But I must not bristle at indignities and be grateful for my good fortune. At last, the world will see the power of my aethericity revealed. Well, ha 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 ha. June 6, 1847. Horrors beyond uttering! I can hardly bring myself to write them here. Oh, suddenly Wayne June took over from Darkest Sunshine. Frank, poor Frank. Your mother will not open the door to me, and I cannot say I fault her for that. I will send her your 3 months' wage by post. A paltry sum for a life, but that's all I have to offer. Now, did that happen before the expo? I don't remember the date of the expo. June 8th, 1847. I have spent the past 2 days sealed in Turnbull Street, every waking moment spent checking and rechecking my prototypes and consulting my research notes, seeking any error or miscalculation. What went wrong? The flow regulator had exhibited irregularities before, but all within tolerance, nothing on the scale of that. The police will neither return nor allow me to access the remains of the exhibition model. Okay, so if we're talking about the exhibition in this fashion, he probably died in the incident at the expo, probably. If only I could inspect it, I might find the malfunctioning flaw or defect in material that caused the catastrophe, or, though I shudder to turn my thoughts in this direction, perhaps some sign of sabotage. There are many who would delight to see me fail. Angry crowds dog my steps whenever I venture beyond the door, reinforcing my voluntary seclusion. At every moment I suspect the constables to arrive with irons. I have a growing suspicion that some handsome sum was discreetly paid by one of the sponsors to suppress public scandal associated with the event. If so, I am by happenstance the fortunate beneficiary of these maneuverings and owe them to my present liberty. But what use is my liberty without my work? There on stage at the pavilion, I felt myself briefly a colossus of science, standing astride the world with shining future spread out before me. Now it has all crumbled in one blinding burst of light. September 21st, 1847. The inquest is complete and my name cleared. I bear no formal responsibility for the deaths at the Expo, in the eyes of the city of New Britannia at least. Her people are not so gracious. The laboratories in Parliament are taking advantage of the public furor to press all the more stridently for a blanket ban on etheric research, which I am certain the Prime Minister will be all too glad to sign into law. I am aware of a dark irony in the fact that my exoneration of the matter has likely only lent strength to their arguments, for, if I am not some murderous monster guilty of horrific malpractice, then aethericity itself must be dangerously unstable and unsafe beyond the power of any man to control. Fools! If they knew what miraculous possibilities they foreclose with their ignorance and fear. Sometimes scientific truth emerges which the world is not yet ready to hear. Was not Galileo denounced as a heretic in his day, only to be vindicated by generations yet unborn? I pur si muove. Or Zelbiolic. It is clear that whatever I am to do next, I cannot do it here. I must leave the city. I will go west, even if total prohibition becomes the law of the land. Laws hold is somewhat looser at the nation's virgin fringes, far from Grand Maison and the chambers of Parliament. The desert has traditionally offered refuge to visionaries and hermit eccentrics. I can continue my work there, away from the throngs. I have come too far and glimpsed too much to give up now. The road of progress was never a smooth one. I have tumbled over a tremendous stumbling block, but will pick myself up and carry on. Ad Occidentum. January 16th, 1848. My new laboratory, my hermitage, my sanctuary of science in the wilderness is complete. Moving out here has been an adjustment for want of the various municipal amenities upon which I was accustomed to rely. My resourcefulness has been sorely tried. For ample hydration, for bodily needs, as well as for hydraulic pressure and cooling of my apparatus, I've been obliged to construct a rudimentary water tower. Even the illumination which, living in Lamplight City, I had taken for granted, I must now provide, and I have taken to dipping my own candles with spare wax and cotton thread. These labors I undertake alone, unwilling to venture so far as engaging another assistant. But solitude was the point of this relocation, was it not? I do believe the desert climate agrees with me. I've certainly found it more conducive to work without interruptions at all hours, and the San Bernardo Valley vistas offer quite an inspiring change from the clogged alleys and foggy horizons of New Britannia. I'm not wholly severed from my fellow man. The small settlement of Rosewater is but a short distance away should I need to call upon any of civilization's necessities. While I was timid of my reception at first, I have found the people here rather more open-minded than those back east, and I have begun giving occasional lectures and demonstrations for small audiences. If these simple-hearted frontier folk can yet be won over and taught to admire and yearn for the transformative potential of aethericity, then perhaps there is hope for the rest of the nation, in time. In the desert I am made anew. My sins are wiped clean by scouring sands. I begin again. May 24th, 1849. The fools! They have done it! They have sliced off their own nose and stamped upon it as it lay bleeding in the dust for spite. Our Prime Minister, having won re-election in defiance of all decency and good sense, has moved swiftly to deliver on his campaign promises and signed a total and immediate ban on all practical research, experimentation, and development of aetheric technology. It is a dark age we live in, and thanks to Leroy and those Laborite technophobes, it will stay that way. I'm pretty sure Leroy and that election were also both in Lamplight City. Like, didn't one of the cases, like, specifically revolve around not necessarily the election itself, but the time frame of the election? And I think you even had a chance to, like, vote in the election or something? It is not yet clear what the repercussions will be out here, so far from the halls of power. I have no wish to tempt fate, and I have ceased all public display of my work. But will they remember the mad Dr. Clark, the erstwhile wizard of aethericity, and his self-imposed desert exile? Will they come looking for me? Like a scuttling bug, I must keep to the shadows and hope to escape notice. It's the only way forward. One day I hope to deliver the fire of aethericity to man, to lift him up from the darkness and keep him in comfort and splendor. For this deed, I can but hope that my punishment will be less severe than that which Prometheus endured. I mean, yeah, doesn't sound great to have eagles eat out your liver or whatever for eternity. My work continues. Okay. That was a lot of reading. How about some reading for dessert?
February 9th, 1850.
Oh, this one's voice
only
acted.
9 months ago.
Clark, I have a business proposal. Relinquish that dusty laboratory in the middle of nowhere. Come to El Presidio. You may stay in my suite at the Jolly Good Club. My Aurum Star membership and military rank afford me certain privileges. You will be furnished with the comforts owing to a man of your intellect and accomplishments.
It's signed L.
P.S. You needn't have any
From Death
concern
Note?
for your valuables, as there is ample secure storage in the room. One of the aforementioned perks.
Interesting. Jake will want to see this.
I heard a big boom, and then they all went running toward the lab.
That's where Phil went. Do you think...
Hey, there's Harley.
Hey guys, I blew up the
What
lab.
this ruckus is about? Or where Phil's gone?
Both, and I'll gladly tell you, but we need to get out of here right now.
Right behind you, my dear.
The way this game uses its settings as a resource is very odd to me.
I'm glad to see you all made it out of there in one piece.
That's the name of the church on the Grand
Would
Line.
you two care to explain what that was all about?
I kind of just, like, I think this is largely inconsequential. I had to get inside the shrine somehow. Phil had a great plan for distraction. It's not as important as what I found. I feel like me, Vasco the person, likes this last one. I feel like me, Harley Leger, the character, likes, Phil had a great plan for a distraction, which was blow something up. I feel like she's largely into that plan. My choice to have her seem reluctant at blowing up the lab was partially to see if I could still have access to another way to do it, which the game was very clear, like, nope, we've committed, it's going boom. But also just because, like, it wasn't plan A, right? Like, I think it's fine to sort of be like, this is cool and all, but it would have been nice to not have to blow up the entire lab.
Phil devised a perfect distraction, blowing up Clark's lab so I could search the shrine uninterrupted.
You should have seen it. Some of my finest work.
I have to admit, that was resourceful of you.
Surprised he's not more mad about
shot
that.
whatever goodwill we had with the Luminarians.
Who needs
I should
it?
say, was that really necessary?
Yep.
We had no other choice.
If you ask me, we did the world a favor by raising that Chamber of Horrors.
I assume you didn't come up empty-handed.
I found Clark's journal. Have a look at this letter that was inside.
An invitation to the Jolly Good Club in El Presidio?
Yep. Check the date.
9 months ago. Ah.
That's
He gave
right
birth.
about the time he disappeared, isn't it?
It is indeed. I'd say it's obvious that the good doctor accepted the invitation.
And took his money with him?
Well, it wasn't in Chrysalis or his lab.
He also
And listen
needed it to
this.
continue his work, right?
You needn't have any concern for your valuables, as there is ample secure storage in the room. Don't get much clearer than that.
I think I like the proactive dialogue
Suppose
option.
we should start packing if El Presidio is our next destination.
Now, let's not get ahead of ourselves. First and foremost, we need some transportation.
You haven't got any? Don't you tour around?
Sure, but our show wagon ain't gonna fit all of us.
Plus, we'll need it to store all the show's props and equipment while we're gone. There's that lady in town with a wagon, though. Heard her talking at the saloon once. Said she
Rich
hires
lady.
it out to travelers.
Sounds promising. Who is she?
Her name's Lola Johnson. I think she stays in the old blacksmith shop.
Ah,
Lola
good.
Johnson, huh?
You know her?
Not personally, but I've heard of her.
I stole her pocket watch once.
Rosewater, no?
Yeah, let's get a move on. Right. Harley, I'm putting you in charge of hiring us some transportation. Danny and I are going back to the theater to settle some business. Come get us once you've arranged a ride.
And just how am I meant to arrange it, financially speaking?
Well, now that may get a mite tricky. Our contract was to pay out at the end of the show's run, but seeing as we'll be breaking that contract, I'm sad to say we'll be forfeiting those proceeds. Anybody else got funds to contribute to the kitty?
Not unless this Johnson woman accepts pesos. And I've few enough of those at that.
I'm afraid I haven't got anything either.
Harley, my dear, I'm afraid we must then prevail upon you to furnish the petty cash needed to get our expedition along.
There's like 4 other people. What are y'all doing?
Other one of our posse who's currently in the position of being gainfully employed. And it goes without saying, but you'll be fully reimbursed once we find what we're looking for, on top of your share, with interest.
I certainly hope so.
Wonderful. Well then, we'll be seeing you later.
So I imagine that hints that I'm supposed to get some sort of advance
I think I'll pay
on
Dr. Sedgwick a visit. It's been ages.
writing a story.
I owe him proper thanks for his care.
See you in a bit, Harley.
Huh, so they'll both go to the doctor together, eh? Interesting. Rattlesnake noise. I haven't heard that all day. Have I? I heard that today.
Welcome back, Miss Leger.
Oh, that leather pouch is missing. Is that all good?
Hey, Sheriff?
What can...
Don't suppose you've encountered a group in the valley calling themselves the Luminarians?
The Lumo what now?
Luminarians. They claim to be the protectors of Dr. Clark's artifacts. They've got a commune set up near his lab.
Oh, come on now. You're pulling my leg.
No,
I'm
and
serious.
the worst part is they just blew up his lab.
So long as I don't get up to nothing in town, they ain't my problem.
You ever meet Dr.
Did you
Clark?
ever meet Dr. Bennett Clark?
No, he only came into town every couple of weeks, until the ethericity ban got handed down. And glad I am of that. I have no use for any of that claptrap. All it does is spook folk, and sometimes blows them up.
Thanks for the chat, Sheriff.
Come back anytime.
Why do you say that like Borat? Casual little knock.
What do you want?
You're Lola Johnson, right?
Right. Who are you and what's your business?
I'm a
Name's
locksmith,
Harley
and
Leger.
I'm a
My
locksmith.
companions and I are headed to El Presidio, and we heard you've got a wagon for hire.
I do. How many are you?
5, including myself.
My fee is 40 crowns up front.
That's a lot of crowns.
Your fee seems a bit steep.
My price is my price. I don't haggle. Already been robbed once today. Don't intend to make a habit of it.
I'm very curious if that price changes if you don't rob her and instead just pay off the guy to get in the theater earlier.
Something of yours was stolen?
My pocket watch.
I see. What if I got it back?
Yes.
I'd be incredibly surprised. Unless there's something you know that I don't.
Let's just say I have my suspicions.
You and me both.
So hypothetically, if I had, say, stolen your pocket watch and given it to a guy who I want to inflict negative events onto, and then I stole it back from him, that'd be cool with you, right?
I'll come back.
I'm curious, like, what other thing she would say if you were just like, I don't have that money.
Ah, Miss Leger, it's good to see you again.
I definitely didn't steal anything from you.
Were just telling me how you all were acquainted. Please do continue.
Hey, Phil, let's talk.
What about?
Are you looking forward to our journey west?
I more look forward to what we will find at the end of it.
Right. Carry on. Nadine, could we have a word?
Of course. Pardon me a moment.
So, how was it working for the good doctor?
Well, he taught me everything I know about medicine. It was especially interesting during the rush. We had no shortage of patients then. I lost count of how many broken bones I set.
Unfortunately, I can only count to 8.
Seems we've a big journey ahead. Are you excited for it?
Yes, but also a bit nervous. I've never been beyond this valley.
This will be a treat. You will enjoy
This'll
it.
be quite the experience for you then. I guarantee you'll see things you'd never imagined.
For better and for worse, I suppose.
I'll leave you to your conversation.
I'll come back and bother the doctor later. I assume we'll have some reason to do it, but let's try to make a little progress. The pacing of this game is interesting. It's not bad. It's just, like, a little uneven. Like, I find that I spend a lot of time getting, like, invested in a new location, and then I, like, literally or figuratively, like, blow it up and then just, like, move on with my life. Neko's put me back on the big screen. Thank you, Neko. I hope you enjoyed your time with Hello Kitty. How is that game going, by the way?
Good to see you again.
Does it have, like, a major story you're working through in addition to sort of, like, an ongoing Animal Crossing style thing?
Excuse me?
How can I be of assistance?
Did you ever happen to meet Dr. Bennett Clark?
I have Joni's account of his demonstrations at the theater, but I never saw them myself. Never met the man, neither. He wasn't seen much in town.
You wouldn't happen to know anything about the Luminarians, would you?
I have no idea what that word even means.
Never mind then. I'll leave you to your work.
Appreciate it.
I think you need medical attention. You're just saying syllables now.
Good to see you again, Harley. Hope you're spinning me some Aurum.
Well, I've spent the past couple days following Jake around, gathering plenty of straw.
Glad to hear it. I like writers who go above and beyond. What do you need?
Most excited looking at whatever new flowers you're growing each day. That's fun. 4 characters left to become best friends with, including your beloved alligator. Oh, I forgot about the alligator. I'm glad that part of the game is becoming best friends with everyone. It's very good.
Say, did you ever get a chance to meet Dr. Bennett Clark?
Not personally, but I did attend one of his demonstrations at the Opera House back before the ban. The man knew how to put on a show, I'll say that much. Pity it all came crashing down in the end.
Have you encountered the Luminarians?
What in the ether is a Luminarian?
Oh, they're in the ether, all right. They're a community of folks living near Dr. Clark's old lab who have designated themselves protectors of his artifacts. They believe Dr. Clark transcended into the ether and joined some luminous beings that live there.
That's some wild
But I
stuff.
definitely
I publish
believe whatever they're
newspapers, not
saying.
copper novels.
Joni, I'd like to ask, could I get an advance on my article?
What for?
The long and the short of it is that Jake has invited me on an expedition. I'll need some extra crowns to cover the expenses.
What kind of an expedition?
We're going to look for Dr. Bennett Clark's missing fortune. Surely a far more interesting story, wouldn't you say?
You're
A reasonable
right about
angle.
that. Tales from the wild frontier are in vogue these days.
Good,
I'd probably
good.
be gumming to find out what happened to Clark. But I like people who finish what they start. Get me your assignment, then we can discuss your next one.
Understood.
That's
I'd best
fair.
be on my way.
That's
Right,
fair.
Char?
Not entirely sure how mechanically that works, but that is a reasonable exchange.
See you later, Joni.
Take care of yourself out there.
I mean, there's like a typewriter down here, kind of like literally just like right-click complete article.
All right, let's get this thing knocked out. But first... Okay.
Oh, right,
time
sure,
to
it's by
bring
hand,
home
I forgot.
The bacon. The big question, how to open?
Oh my god, am I going to write? Are we like Doki Doki Literature Club writing this article? Ooh, ooh, ooh. There's more animation you were expecting. Same, for sure, same. I wonder if you're like entitled to get more money if you like lean into what you think Joni wants from the article. I mean, so she wanted originally like an account of his like heroism, right? Like I think the bar brawl is probably the correct thing to do. Like, part of me wants to give a positive account of the Wild West show just because I think it's really funny that my character was, like, cheering inappropriately at it.
When this writer was assigned to pen a profile of a Wild West legend, she never expected to become embroiled in the action firsthand. But no sooner had my private audience with Gentleman Jake concluded than a saloon brawl erupted in the barroom of the Jack of Diamonds, and Mr. Ackerman's legendary pugilistic prowess was put on full display.
He punched good.
Now the middle section needs to recapture the reader's interest. Let's see.
Write about the interview, write about Jake's adventures investigating Clark's lab, write about Jake's ingenious escape plan, write about Jake's attitude. Attitude's a negative. Clark's lab's a little bit interesting. I feel like all of these, other than attitude, feel like viable. Escape from what? So when we got captured by the natives, like we were in sort of a holding cell, and he like concocted this plan where like he basically like shaved the bar of soap to look like a gun and then covered it in tinfoil to try and like threaten his way out of the jam. I feel like it's the pulpy sort of Western adventure thing that like still leans into that angle of like his prowess or whatever. Part of me though thinks that like talking about the lab is like a good lead-in for trying to get money out of the next article. The interview, I don't know. I think the interview is relatively boring compared to the others. I vaguely remembered the types of things I asked about. I just don't think it's as compelling as the other thing. Doesn't get credit for stealing the soap gun from a movie. Now, I would hasten to remind you that movies don't exist in this world yet. It's your job to write about boring things as a journalist. I'm going with the lab. I feel like I have enough evidence in my own mind that this is a compelling next step.
Not content to sit on his laurels, Jake has undertaken an audacious investigation into some of our very own local mysteries. I was fortunate enough to accompany him on a foray to Dr. Bennett Clark's erstwhile laboratory of the forbidden etheric sciences, situated just outside the town of Rosewater. What we found inside boggled the imagination.
It didn't monopoly the investigation?
And
or
now
Yahtzee it?
For an ending.
It'd be really funny to conclude by praising Danny. When we were assigned this task, didn't she like concur that this was a fluff piece? It wasn't the sort of thing where she was like, no, that's not what we do here. Like, I think she wanted that, right? The lab might be a crime. I mean, the thing is that, like, we just actually talked to the sheriff, and he was basically like, listen, as long as it's not in town, I don't care. So, like, I think it's fine to mention the lab. I don't know. I feel like the correct answer should either be Rosewater or Jake. But again, I feel like if my goal is to, like, entice the people of town to, like, want to learn more about Jake and to, like, buy papers for this article and for me to get money for us to travel, that, like, we should be talking about Jake. And also the assignment was to talk about Jake. So my instinct is Jake.
All in all, Mr. Ackerman has shown the true qualities of a great leader and hero. May his adventures persist and his tales continue to inspire and delight.
The lab owner could press charges? No.
All right, that should do it.
I mean,
no.
He's missing. That's the whole thing we're doing, is looking for the guy who owns the lab. Continuing adventures of Gentleman Jake, a frontier hero comes to town. Jake Ackerman, a true gentleman. I like a frontier hero comes to town. He might be on holiday. No, like literally what we're doing right now is gathering funds to go look for him. We have a lead. We know where he probably went after leaving town. But it doesn't seem like he intends to come back here. He's been gone for, like, 9 months? I don't know how leaving the article untitled would be helpful. Continue adventures of Gentleman Jake seems fine. Jake Ackerman, a true gentleman, doesn't feel like it fits the tone. Yeah, I like Frontier Hero Comes to Town.
A frontier hero comes to town.
I think Joni's gonna like this.
And done.
Do I have to put the typer? Nope.
Hello again, Harley.
I hope this is good enough.
I am curious how much this impacts things, like the way you choose to write the article.
Here you are, Joni. One profile of Gentleman Jake, ready to print.
Did I understand the assignment?
Let's have a look. You know, writing the headline is normally the editor's job. Now let's
Well,
see.
screw me.
Not even in town for a day, and Spitfire Harley makes her comeback. This is good. You've kept it brisk all the way through. Not bad, Harley. Not bad at all. A few snips here and there, and this will be fit to print. Here's your fee, as agreed.
It's implied I'm giving you it.
Now,
All right, well, I have enough money now.
Think about your next assignment.
About that.
Hmm.
How about that piece on the search for Clark's missing fortune? That'll be better than any old profile.
Sure enough. All right then. Clark's missing fortune it is.
I've got something else.
Oh? Do tell.
While I was going around with Jake, we spent some time with the Aurum. I learned that they've come under constant attack from the soldiers at Fort Beaumont.
What? Why?
That's the thing. There's no reason. They pose no threat, yet the soldiers harass them anyway. In one recent raid, all their crops were torched.
That's atrocious. People need to know about this.
I'm glad you think so, because their leader wants their story told. She's willing to be interviewed. She gave me the statement, too.
It's implied I had a statement.
Powerful stuff. I'll pay a visit as soon as I can and see for myself. Plenty of townsfolk could stand to learn about our neighbours in the valley. This could open their eyes.
I hope so. Now, if you'll excuse me, I need to see about hiring a wagon.
Godspeed, Harley.
But hear me out. I got enough money to rent a wagon, but what if I did crimes against that guy who I don't like and got a pocket watch back and
See you
then
later, Joe.
Take care.
befriended the person I stole the pocket watch from originally in a sinister act of manipulation for the good of the people? I bet there was probably an achievement for like making the perfect article, and that would require me to leave the headline blank, which I'll be honest, I haven't done print journalism before.
Maps for sale. Get your maps.
I did
here.
work on an e-zine in college, but that writing process was not as stringent or official as this.
Maps for sale. Get your maps here.
Hey, buddy, give me that pocket watch.
You just keep turning up
Or I'll
like a
solve
bad
my problem with
copper,
knife.
don't you?
Nice to see you too.
You have something that doesn't belong to you.
Could you be more specific?
Lola Johnson's watch. I want it back.
No can do. You swiped that watch for me fair and square.
I would say that you should think about this carefully, because I swiped it fair and square in the first place, and I can do it again. Let's see. 3 approaches. It's in your best interest to give me that watch back. Give me the watch or I might do something I'll regret. How much to buy the watch back? It feels like there's a good chance that buying the watch would be cheaper than renting the coach. But I still feel like I'd prefer to take either of the other approaches, persuade or threaten. Why not steal it? I mean, that may be an option, but currently I'm presented with other options, so I'm weighing those currently. It's not necessarily clear that I would definitely be able to steal it, or how I'd go about doing that, but in theory, it should be like a possible thing, right?
I think you'll find it in your best interest to give me that watch back.
Oh, yeah? Why's that?
I feel like this second one, being a criminal isn't fun like you think it is meant to imply more backstory. You're a bad role model is not going to affect this guy. I'm dubious that the sheriff won't take kindly to a thief won't blow back on me, but at the same time, I'm only just now realizing that his sign spells map with 2 P's. I feel like it might be just like a she said, he said situation, and he already knows this guy's trouble, and I haven't necessarily proven that to be the case for myself. These options are lamer than I was expecting. Agreed, although I chose the less violent option than threatening him. So maybe the others are better.
Because the sheriff won't be too happy to know there's a thief in town.
You know, you're absolutely right. Be a shame if he found out who really broke into One Eye's place and stole that watch. Should I go over there right now and tell him?
That won't be necessary.
Thought as much.
Now I'll threaten him.
You're on thin ice, kid. Hand over the watch or I might do something I'll regret.
No, you won't. We're in the middle of the town thoroughfare. You lay a hand on me, and everybody and his dog will see it.
Cut the crap, kid. Name your price and let's be done with it.
Oh, where's the fun in that?
I'm not playing games. Tell me how much you want for the watch.
Let's see. Taking into account the material and age. How about 10 crowns?
Don't go anywhere.
Not like there's anywhere to go.
Well, we've weighed our options.
Maps of Rosewater! A steal for just 1 crown!
I must admit, I admire the kid's gumption. His orthography, not so much.
Where's the fun in not knocking him out? I don't know. I'd still prefer to do something a little more clever. I don't doubt that we would be capable of knocking him out. And I feel like we could make a reasonably compelling case to not get in a tremendous amount of trouble. He does suck. But knocking him out isn't even like a permanent solution, you know? Not like use knife on Jim. Such a weird contraption.
Feeling lost? Buy
Shabby,
a map
but
of
I've been to-
Rosewater. Just 1 crown.
Let me see what Jake and Danny are up to. If I can get in.
Locked.
Now, I do have some lockpicks. Explain to me why I can't pick this lock.
Locked.
It seems to me that locked door is exactly the sort of thing that lockpicks work on.
Maps of Rosewater.
Now I'm curious, can I just like go to the sheriff and tell him first about the pocket watch?
Hey, Sheriff.
What?
Just saying hello.
No, I can't do that. I mean, I'll say I really don't want to leave town without...
Feeling lost? Buy a map of Rosewater. Just 1 crown.
without resolving the pocket watch situation. Let me talk to the doctor before I commit to this. I've not done this yet.
Ah, Miss Leger.
Hey, Doc.
Miss Le
Did you ever make...
Doctor. If that man's a doctor, then I'm Hippocrates.
Shall I
I
take
believe
that
it's
as a
pronounced
no?
Hippocrates.
Miss Leger, I do not associate with lunatics and crackpots, especially those who recklessly cause the deaths of innocents. Now, let's not sully the good name of higher learning any further.
Have you met any members of the Luminarians?
I beg your pardon?
They're a community
high elbow
living near the
response.
old Clark laboratory.
Oh, those ethericity cultists. Yes, they do make their way into town on occasion. Sometimes the women come to me seeking certain remedies and prophylactics. And I've treated 1 or 2 cases of malnutrition. The desert is a hard place to make a home. Something about the old lab draws in the gullible and deluded.
I have good news about that.
Souls searching
We've
for
dealt with the
meaning.
lab.
Well, that may not be a worry anymore.
I'll see you later, Doc.
Do take care of yourself.
Maps of Rosewater! A steal for just 1 crown!
Hey,
I don't
kid.
think I'm advancing until I either commit to renting the wagon or doing something here. I do really, I would like to punch him. I would like to do that. I feel like there will be actual consequences for it though. This isn't like a normal adventure game. Like in a normal adventure game, one of 2 things would happen. Either it would be an option and it would be completely fine to do a crime because it was the thing that you were meant to do to advance anyway. Or you could suggest it or try to input it, but the game wouldn't let you do it because it's not the thing you're supposed to do. In this game, I definitely believe that it will let me do it and that I will get arrested. And if that happens, he may possibly notice that I have some lockpicks that I did steal from him. Might be a problem later for sure. Yeah, I don't know if we're coming back here. I mean, the game is called Rosewater. False. I did not have an option to beat him up earlier. At least not to... I don't believe violence was an option then. I think I was only able to bribe him or steal the thing for him. Because, like, I really didn't want to pay him. I'm pretty sure if violence was an option, I would have tried it then. I think I wasted, like, almost 40 minutes in the last stream just trying not to pay him money. Like an outrageous amount of time spent just, like, not paying him money. I'm really torn on this. I really am. Like, it's not that I don't want to punch him, because I do. The trick is, I don't actually know what kind of discount I would get for the watch. Do we think it's a 1-to-1 trade of return the watch and, like, get a free ride? It's true. I could just hit him and reload. I mean, I made the save to keep that possibility alive. I'm trying not to save scum this, but I do think there's a difference, personally. Other people might disagree with me, but I've done similar things before. in games like this, where like I feel like if you save and like state very clearly that your intention is like not to do the thing and then just sort of like do it to see what happens, that's different than like trying it, not liking the outcome, and like reloading. Like I genuinely believe that there is like a difference there. Like one is just like trying to like enjoy more of the game, and the other is like trying to like get the best ending rather than like explore the negative options of the game. And like I'm trying to be better about doing that sort of thing. I think a lot of the time if I was just like playing this in my own time, I'd probably like try to get the best ending and like not give a crap about save scumming because it's a game I bought for entertainment. But I think like, you know, for stream, it's like pretty useful to get like a unique and specific playthrough. But sure, let's like punch him and see how bad it is. But like I think the smart money is to pay 10 crowns and like return the pocket watch and hope for like a sizable discount.
Let's give them a real show then. Can't say I didn't warn you.
Doesn't seem like anyone cares.
Here it is. I'd better get this back to Lola quick.
Can I take his hat?
Nothing else on him.
Good news.
Here, I believe this belongs to you.
I'll be damned. Where did you find it?
Jem's lifeless body.
Stronger than my mom.
Little
She is even stronger than your mom,
One
I'm
good
sure,
turn
Nick.
deserves another. I'll knock 10 crowns off my fee.
Wow, that sucks. So returning the watch basically does nothing for you if you pay 10 crowns for it. You break even. Also, I think you probably have like a harder time explaining that to her. See, now I feel bad because now I kind of just want to keep this and not commit to the course of action that I did. Because like saving $0, like who cares then? Like maybe I'm better off just like paying her $40. I mean, now as it stands, we have 3 choices. We live in the violence timeline, and we deal with the fact that Jem doesn't like us later. Which I don't know that I care. 2, we pay her $40 and just advance the story. Or, alternatively, we pay $10 to get her pocket watch back, return it to her for a discount of $10, and then effectively have paid $40, but the distinction is that she has her pocket watch back, but we also gave Jem $10. Now, this is a weird type of math word problem, but like, I don't really want to give that guy money. I did spend like 40 minutes in the last stream trying to avoid giving that guy money. I'm torn. And also, I know that the only person who's going to give me input in chat right now is Neko. Because everyone else is having a bad week. And or went to bed already. I know the energy is tired in here. I don't know what to do. I mean, paying him money for no reason kind of sucks. The worst part of it is, in theory, if I had paid $2 to him before that I didn't want to do, it would have been way better in like all respects than doing the fun and interesting thing that I did before. It's too pricey. Well, I mean, here's the problem, Cyber Justin. It's always $40. There's no world in which we don't spend $40. We either spend $40 outright, I mean, this is the cheapest option. Punching him and not paying him $10 means that we pay a net $30 and have a worse relationship with him in the future. But also, he does suck and I don't like him. Supposing you didn't steal the pocket watch, she doesn't have any incentive to give you a discount at all. That's true, but at the same time, I mean, like the only, I guess. I don't know. I mean, the thing is, my ultimate driving force in the beginning is I didn't want to pay him any money. This is the only way out of all possible realities I'm aware of to advance the game without having spent any money on him, is to punch him and spend $30 here after stealing this woman's watch and giving it back to her for a discount. It is the cheapest way to do it and also avoids paying that man any money. I am certain it will have consequences. I think I'm fine with that. Whatever. No, like thinking it through, we could have paid him $2 earlier to not steal the pocket watch. But then we would definitely have to pay full price here, as Neko points out, because there would be no path to get a discount because she would just have her own pocket watch. We wouldn't be able to return it to her for a seemingly negligible discount. So the most expensive option is actually paying him earlier. Now it's at least a flat 40 no matter what you do by not paying him earlier. It's weird. It's a weird outcome. All right. Talking through this with chat has helped me. I think that this is most narratively interesting, and one of the few things I've been very adamant about so far is not wanting to pay that man any money. So I think that the concession for choosing this is that we will have to try and choose as many options as possible to never pay that man anything, and probably make our relationship with him increasingly bad.
Here's your fee.
And we still have 40 cheat dollars.
Posse
Who cares?
together and meet me outside town at sundown. We'll head out then.
Oh, she's coming with us. That was not clear to me. We have $40. Vespuchin. Oh, she's Eye Patch Lady. She was like
There
the cover art or something.
This your group then?
This is us.
All right, folks, listen here. I'm Lola Johnson. This is my wagon. When you're in my wagon, you follow my rules. Rule 1. I'm your driver, not your friend. While we're moving, leave me be. That means no yammering in my ear about how pretty you think the mountains are. Rule 2. We stop and go as I say. I ain't
Look at this crazy wagon.
blowing up my engine just because y'all are in a hurry. Last rule. Everybody does their part. Be it cooking, hunting, or gathering firewood. This ain't no pleasure cruise, and I won't be serving
We already
y'all.
paid you like a
Go
bunch
get
of money,
drunk,
lady.
But I'm an experienced navigator and tracker, so stick with me and you'll be fine. If you've got
Just
any
like your Lyft
questions,
driver.
now's
Justin,
the
where do you
time to
live?
ask.
To go ask who's the other woman at the back of the party. She hasn't contributed terribly much. She is the like apprentice to the doctor in town in Rosewater, and she had like left town to be sort of like a medicine woman to the native tribe whose name is difficult to pronounce because it isn't pronounced the way it's written. It's like written as like Udim, but like it's read as like Atun or something. But like, yeah, she seems to be like the moral compass of the group. She seems to not like doing any sort of crime, which is going to be a problem because we're the protagonist in an adventure game that's set in an alternate history Wild West. So I'm going to be like punching some guys out after stealing pocket watches, if you know what I mean. You said not to talk to you, but what if it's important? I mean, I think shouldn't we be making the rules since we're paying is a valid question. If we got a significant discount telling us how to conduct our business is sort of fine. But after we paid her a bunch of money, it's a little annoying to me.
Just how long do you expect this journey to take?
I reckon it shouldn't be more than 8 or 9 days, weather permitting. Anything
Okay,
else?
don't really know the geography.
You said you're a tracker?
What's that mean exactly?
It means I'm good at finding things. One of you gets lost, or we're hunting our supper and need to trail an animal, I can do that.
So, like a bloodhound?
No, like a tracker. Compare me to a dog again, and you're finding yourself another ride. Understand?
Oh, apologies. I didn't mean to offend.
Folk rarely do. Anything else?
You go like her. There's one time we had to take a lift and the driver just straight told me he didn't want to talk. I mean, I don't necessarily hate it. I mean, rideshare is so, like, inherently awkward, isn't it? Oh, she's gonna get so mad if I ask this. I think it's clear that if, like, something's gonna explode or something, I can tell her about it. So I'm not gonna ask the stupid one. Good enough.
You'll have no trouble from us.
All right, then. Let's get a move on. Time's wasting.
We are off, with the first faint tendrils of dawn at our backs. We head west for El Presidio on the trail of the elusive Dr. Clark.
Set off across western Vespuccia.
We have but a few days' travel before us, through the desert and mountains to reach the coast. I am rather looking forward to getting a
I
better
should probably
view of
move to
this
an
part
upper
of the
corner
country.
for the next stream.
Should the scenery lack for
Look at that.
diversion, I
Look at us
suppose I'll
go.
have recourse in the fellowship of my new traveling companions. Now that we've assembled in this unlikely venture, perhaps it's time we got to better know one another.
Ah, feels good to be underway at last.
Yes, though I must admit I tend to become restless on long trips.
Well, we got cards, books, and conversation. Plenty of ways to pass the time.
Who could ask for anything more? Ting Ting. I feel like there's an equivalent of Ting Ting for this situation. We're steam engine adjacent. Look at the map. Okay, so hang on. So Rosewater's here in... Is it Nevada? I'm terrible at geography. Like over here's like fake California. Yeah, I mean, we're not going to Bone Town though. We're going to El Presidio, which is extremely not close to here. Rosewater? El Presidio. 9 days. This is a map of the Commonwealth of Vespuccia with a focus on the Western Provinces, 3rd edition, 1849. Purgatory Gulch.
Jake's luggage. I could put everything I own in that suitcase and it would hardly cover the bottom.
Cover the bottom.
None are in the red, so I guess that's good. That's what keeps this heap going. Makes it pretty hot in here, too.
So hot for real.
We're set for fuel for a good while. Lola must be a reader. Always nice to have some books around.
I didn't have Steampunk RV on my bingo card or whatever. Do you think I can make money gambling against my own party?
How about a few hands of poker, boys?
Sounds good to me. What do you think, Danny boy?
I don't have anything to bet with.
We don't need to play for money. Only our honor at stake. What
Boo.
could be more valuable, huh?
On second...
I want to steal your money. Hey, do you want to be friends with me now, Phil?
Phil?
Señorita?
You're very polite, Phil, but please, call me Harley.
What is wrong with Señorita?
It's not my name.
Ah, but it is a sign of respect. I would never dream of addressing a new Spanish lady by her given name.
Well, things are different here.
As
I'm an
I
old
have
Vespuccian lady.
If you wish it, it will be so.
Appreciate it. Will this be your first time visiting El Presidio?
It will. I have heard many tales of this so-called Mouth of the West. I am curious to find out which ones are true.
We'll talk more later.
I look forward to it.
Hey, Nadine.
Hello, Harley. Something I'd like to ask you. You seem quite well traveled. What's it like in a big city?
I think it depends on the city's a fair answer here. I think even in this time period, cities could be quite different from one another. Definitely doesn't feel like it's necessary to spook her. I feel like she's already kind of anxious about, like, being away from home. Only way to find out is experience. Seems fine, but I like the first one.
Everywhere's different. I've never been to El Presidio before.
It's big, but from what I hear, not as crowded as cities back east.
Doubt it's anything you can't handle. Stick with us and you'll be fine.
That is something of a comfort.
Ask about her.
So how'd you become a healer? Did you go to school?
No. I mean, I attended the missionary school for a few years as a child, but not to learn medicine. I was taught by Dr. Sedgwick. I worked as his apprentice for nearly a decade. He was a wonderful guardian and mentor. I am grateful for all his care.
You said Doc Sedgwick was your guardian? What about your parents?
I never knew my mother. She died soon after I was born. My father worked for Dr. Sedgwick, which is how I came to his household. He took me in when my father died from an infected wound.
I'm so
hate
sorry.
to see it.
How old were you?
I don't remember exactly, but I couldn't have been more than 5.
Did that have anything to do with you choosing to learn medicine?
I suppose so. Yes. If I can save somebody's loved one, grant them extra time to cherish together, well...
Nadine is so wholesome. Something awful is going to happen to her, isn't it?
When did you return to the Aurum?
I went to them in April of last year, but it wasn't a return. They took me in. People were leaving town, and there was less need for me at the clinic. It was Dr. Sedgwick who encouraged me to find my own path. The Aurum were kind to accept me as a guest, but truthfully, I'm glad for this opportunity to travel with you and the others.
You said the Aurum took you in. They aren't your people?
No. I don't know who my people are. My father never told Dr. Sedgwick, and I have no memories of him talking about it. I think my parents came from somewhere to the east, but I'm not even sure of that.
Have you ever tried tracking down where you came from?
Don't know, but has very little information.
It's complicated. Perhaps someday.
I kind of like...
I see something up ahead, by the side of the road.
I kind of
Looks
like
like
that
an
you don't
oil
get
tank.
everyone's life story right away.
Wagon's slowing down.
Guess it caught Lola's eye, too. Let's have a look.
Any particular reason we've stopped, Miss Johnson?
I needed to stretch my legs. You might take advantage and do the same. We're off again in about 20 minutes.
Come on, Danny. Let's go have a look at that oil derrick.
Excuse me, ladies. I have some business to attend to.
He's gonna go poop. He's gonna go poop in the
Do
woods.
as you like. Just stay within sight.
Actually, I'm curious about this machine. Do you think I could ask you a few questions?
Oh, well, I suppose so.
It's a little heavy-handed, but I like that everyone has their own, like, interests, like, every time the party splits up.
Tools of the trade for an oil worker, I suppose.
Also, welcome back, Demolition. Sorry it continues to be such a day. Hope you brought toilet paper, otherwise, what's he gonna use, a cactus? Takes a lot of skill, but if you know what you're doing, it seems fine. Now, I'm impressed that Nadine has managed to talk to this woman. We were instructed not to talk to her.
Somebody's out here sniffing for a fortune.
Or just digging a very deep hole.
Funny how the best things are often found in the lowest of places. Come have a look, Harley.
Hello down there.
Who said that?
Up here.
No. How would you miss
Afternoon
that?
to ya. What brings you folks to Cormac's oil rig?
Just passing through, friend. I was just saying you've a fine setup here.
Thank you, sir. It pleases Cormac to hear that.
Just to be clear, are
Just
you
needs to make a
Cormac?
slight adjustment. Then Cormac can come down for a chinwag. Whoops! Ah! Whoa, damn!
I really felt that coming.
Clumsy Cormac.
Jeez, are you all right?
All right, right as rain. Not upright though, no. Good thing you folks is here.
Yeah.
Hates to be a bother, but Cormac is in a pickle. Could you, lend a hand? Cormac would be ever so grateful.
Oh my god, can we have Danny, like, trick shoot the rope and drop him into the hole? Out of, like, pure spite or whatever?
Hang on, sir. We'll get you down.
Cormac appreciated, miss. Not wishing to hurry you, but soon'd be preferable to later. The blood's starting to pool in Cormac's poor head.
Let me look through his stuff. I don't rummage through his papers.
There's lots here, but nothing I can see that will help. There's lots here. Danny?
Hmm?
Got any idea what to do?
I know what we need to do. I just don't know how.
Part of me is disappointed I don't at least immediately have the option to try and shoot him down, even though it would obviously be bad.
It's a long way down. Looks extremely heavy. I hope it's secured.
Not as many hitboxes here as I would expect. I don't have very many useful items either.
Hey, Jake?
Yeah?
Any suggestions what to do?
That rope doesn't look too thick. Should be able to cut through it. The trick will be keeping our friend from falling headfirst into that pit.
Got anything on you that could cut rope?
Afraid not. One of the others might.
It's not so much that suggesting the violence has put me on a dark path. It's just like, I always have a really cartoonish sense of humor, and with him being put in this position, and like, adventure games typically strongly featuring a sociopathic protagonist, it's just like, I mean, we've solved problems with shooting him like 2 times already, and like, seems like the most expedient way to get him down. Certainly not the best way, depending on how much you value Cormac's safety.
This rope could be useful.
I'm kind of, there's like a pulley looking thing that I'm surprised I don't have any ability to interact
Tools of
with.
the trade for an oil worker, I suppose.
Definitely what Max would do in this situation. Oh yeah, it'd definitely be like, click Max with rope and you chew it immediately and drop him into the abyss. One of y'all's a trick roper, right? I don't know which one of you is better.
Could you lasso the gentleman?
Now?
Not yet. I need to figure out the rest.
But I think if we, like, lasso him off to one edge, then he won't fall in the pit. So then we would just need to cut the rope. I don't love that I can't look up to, like, make sure I'm tracking the rope correctly. So I still gotta find... Can I go, like, in the cab? Like, ask for a knife, maybe? Yeah, not a lot of hitboxes here, either.
Sorry to interrupt, but...
What is it?
There's a man at the oil derrick in dire need of help.
What happened?
He's caught on a rope hanging upside down. We're trying to get him down somehow.
And what do you want me to do about it?
Knife?
Do you have something sharp enough to cut rope?
Sure. My hunting knife.
Could I borrow it for a spell?
Only if you swear to be careful with it.
On my brother's grave.
Take it then.
Oh, God. We've learned something important really haphazardly.
That
Couldn't
man
hurt
at
to
the
ask
barracks
about
And what do you...
the ladder.
Is there a ladder in the wagon?
Not anymore. Sorry.
I'm
That's
not
a
sure what
weird.
you
That's
can
a
do,
weird response. What'd you do with the ladder? Did you eat the ladder? Did you eat the ladder that you had before? How did you use it up?
Cormac, are you alive?
What do we do?
Get the others. We need help to pull him out.
You're very lucky you didn't break your neck.
Cormac's got a bit of cat in him.
Lucky also, you were not simply left to fend for yourself.
You sure do hold a grudge, don't you?
We should be on our way.
Suppose Cormac should be thanking you for the help.
Sorry about the fall.
It's all right, miss. Cormac knew the risks when he took this job. Still beats what he used to do.
Come on. We got to get back on the road.
Hey,
Sure you'll
chat.
be okay on your own?
Yes, sir. Cormac can handle himself. Good luck getting where you're going.
Chat, I request your input. How do we want to handle this situation? I made a save file. Cormac dies 3 hours later from internal hemorrhaging. Why are we so calm of what just happened? Yeah, I mean, I definitely feel like at the very least Cormac should be more upset about that. Listen, I don't fault the game for this, because I genuinely think it's doing something interesting. But you know that I hate a time section, and you know that I hate, like, a stealth time section even more than a time section. In a puzzle game, especially. It's like a multiple-fold problem of, like, not my favorite thing. That was time. Oh, yeah. I literally just, like, assembled everything I needed to save him, and then he fell into the pit. Did you think that I chose to have him fall in the pit and do nothing to help him? Did you also not notice my expression for, like, a full minute of, like, oh no? What are our options? I mean, basically, I can, like, reload to roughly the start of that section and just get the 2 items I need right away and, like, fix it. Or... not that. Or just keep going. No, so, like, I, like, talked to the guys and, like, found a rope, and I was looking around for a knife, and I couldn't find it, and then I asked, and I got it, and then by the time that I, like, moved back on the screen, he, like, literally just, like, fell to probably his death. Kind of makes sense. Well, that's what, like, to be clear, Justin, I'm not saying, like, boy, that felt unfair. Like, you know I'm, like, super quick to complain that I feel like a thing is not fair. But, like, that's not what I'm saying. Like, nope, I get it. I understand what happened. For sure. Absolutely for sure. Definitely. But, like, I have no idea what possible future ramifications that could have in a game like this. But also, like, I just don't know, like... Again, it's tough. Like, I feel like if I was playing this for myself, I'd probably want to just reload it because, like, I don't like time sections, and I'm like, got it, understood. I'll try to be more careful of that or whatever. But, like, I don't know how you all feel about it. Is he dead? No, he's inexplicably completely not dead. He's like not even mad. Like, it was very weird. Like, there are multiple, like, it was the time section to, like, break into the lab to find the journal, and because it was in, like, one of the last places I could have looked for it, we got kicked out, and then our only option to proceed without save scumming was to, like, blow up the lab, and so I committed to that. But, like... I don't know. I don't know. This is tough, because, like, I feel like streaming, I'm inclined to handle this differently than I would otherwise. The thing that's annoying about it is just that, like, I had the solution. But, like, again, it's not that I feel like that was unfair. It makes it more annoying that, like, essentially, like, the moment I was going to apply the solution, he fell. Like, that feels annoying. It's not that the game did anything wrong. It just feels annoying that that's true.
This rope could be... Sorry to...
What is...
There's a... What happened? He's called...
And what...
No, I have to... So I can't ask about the knife without talking about the knife? That feels a little weird, but okay.
Got it?
Freight.
Sorry.
What?
Do you have...
Sure.
Could I...
Own? Take.
Oh my god.
I've got this...
Now?
Yes, now.
I'm not sure, like, this was the thing I wasn't sure of either. Is, like, if it would have made sense to do this right away.
How's about getting...
I mean, honestly, this does not seem secure.
I've got this knife.
What are you meaning to do with it?
Throw knife at rope. I'm going to cut the rope. Throw knife to Cormac, catch the knife, and cut yourself down. Isn't the third option that makes the most sense to cut it myself without throwing it like a carnival performer? Like, this is the thing, is like, it doesn't have a hitbox, which is what was like driving me crazy for so much of this. I don't think it makes an awful lot of sense to throw the knife at the rope. That sounds insane. But he's also not in what I would consider a particularly good situation to try and cut himself down. How good is our throw? Well, if you weren't here last week, there was a hand-eye coordination minigame that I did spectacularly bad at. I feel as though we may be in the market for another one of those. If he drops the knife, he's like, I'm gonna throw the knife at the rope.
I'm gonna cut you down. Brace yourself.
Oh!
Oh, whoops.
I wish you'd shared your intentions with us, Harley. We might have helped.
Jake knows lots of knife throwing tricks.
Too late now. Sorry, fella.
I just can't. Okay. That one I don't think is my fault, because that is an like, the solutions that are provided in that situation are all insane. None of those is a correct solution, including what the game thinks I should take away from that is to tell Jake to do a fun knife throwing trick. That also is not an appropriate solution to this problem. Like, just cut the rope like a normal adult human being. What is wrong with everyone? No, at this point we have to let him fall again. It's the only way. The only thing that would possibly make it funnier is to see if I can get him to stop holding him with the rope.
Change of plans. Let him go.
Okay.
Oh, hey now. What's going on?
I'm rethinking the situation.
Think quick.
I wonder if it's a number of screens back and forth that triggers it, or exactly what timekeeping.
Cormac!
What do we do?
Get the others. He'll need patch.
You're very lucky you didn't break your neck.
Cormac's got a bit of cat in him.
Just stay off that leg for a few days.
Cormac will try his best.
Lucky also you were not simply left to fend for yourself.
You sure do hold a grudge,
It's remarkable
don't
that he can say that with a straight... Like, I know he's trying to
We
burn
should be
us,
on our way.
but, like, at the same
Sorry
time,
about the
we
fall.
obviously didn't help.
And the knife.
It's all right, miss. Cormac knew the risks when he took this job. Still beats what he used to do.
Come on.
This is an insanely
Sure you'll be
easygoing
okay,
man.
sir. Good luck.
Okay, hold on. Shut up, Matt. No one asked you. Now I want to see what happens if I give him the knife. I don't want to do it the right way. I want to just see what happens if I do the other stupid thing. Okay. Talk to Jake.
Hey,
Yeah?
any suggestions?
That...
Got it?
Afraid...
Okay. Now I can retrieve what I think are the only two relevant items, which are rope and knife.
This rope could be. Sorry.
What?
There's a. What happened? He's caught.
And what do you...
Do you have?
Sure. Oh, take.
Hopefully he's a good catcher. Well, we aim to find out, Justin.
Al?
Yes.
Like, the fail case on this is shockingly forgiving. I don't know what... At this point, I have no idea what end state I should achieve here.
I've got this knife.
What are you meaning to do with it?
I'm going to throw you the knife. Catch it and cut yourself down.
Catch it?
Yes. I don't have a sheath for it, so careful of the blade. I'll try to toss it light as I can. Ready? Here we go.
Whoops.
Damn.
Very good.
Oh, now throwing seems a simple skill, but it's quite tricky to master. One reason I gave up my old knife act. Tough to impress when it looks too easy.
You had a knife act? You might have mentioned those skills before.
I'd have been glad to assist, but too late now.
Now if he falls, does he die holding on to the... Does he die falling on the knife? I don't know, but I think we should let him fall and give him the chance to find out.
Oh, hey now.
I like that they gave
I'm
like a
rethinking
really concerned animation, which is entirely warranted. So okay, now here's the next important question: is like, what are we doing here? What is the end? Chat, what's the end state we want here? Are we trying to do this well? I don't know what we're doing anymore. At a certain point, it just became academic. I wanted to know what was going to happen.
Ah!
Cormac, are you alive?
What do we do?
Get the others.
You're very lucky you didn't break your...
Cormac's got a bit...
Lucky also.
You sure...
Suppose...
Sorry.
It's all right, miss. Still...
Come on.
Sure you'll be...
Yes, sir. Good luck.
He cares remarkably little for his own safety. It would be nice if I could escape at any point during that situation. Oh my god, you're so right, Neko. If you do it that way, you probably lose the knife, and then the driver probably like hates you forever. Because you like swore on your brother's grave or whatever.
Hey.
Yeah?
Any suggestions?
That rope, the trick...
Got any?
Afraid...
This actually also... Oh, space is a regular pause. This actually also bothers me a little bit, too. Is you, like, ask him for suggestions on what to do, and he's like, you should cut the rope. It's like, dirt. Friggin' dirt. But then, like, he doesn't... Like... There's a certain conceit here that, like, feels unreasonable to me. Which is, like... they're like, well, you should have told me what you intended to do. When, like, in order to advance this, you, like, literally call out to him, like, hello, I have a knife. I intend to do things with the knife. And, like, you think, like, in the real world, like, a person, like, a normal person would be like, hey, I have, like, a better idea that doesn't get this man killed dead. You wouldn't just, like, watch and be like, well, that was embarrassing. I definitely could have stopped him from dying, but that's on you. Like, what? Like, what the heck is that? What is that, actually? Like, I don't... Is there, like, a worse choice than, like, throwing it to him? I mean, honestly, at this point, I kind of want to try what, like, feels like it is probably the obvious way to fix this. And I do feel as though I'm still not quite there.
This rope...
I'm not sure what exactly I'd be missing unless, like, his plan incorporates something I don't already have.
Do you have...
Could I only on my take it?
Do you think she would be mad if she got, like, a random dude's blood on her hunting knife?
I've got the...
Now?
Not yet. Danny? Yes.
If you...
The hunting knife is supposed to get blood on it. Yeah, but like a random guy's? What's he doing?
Wait.
Wait. I found an... Hey, guys? The game interpreted my input in an interesting way I wasn't anticipating because I was skipping dialogue. And apparently I can have him shoot the guy down, it turns out. There is a way to do that. Do you think that one pisses him off? I'm gonna guess no. I'm gonna guess he doesn't care about that.
Cormax.
Lucky also.
You
Suppose. Sir. It's all right. Still.
Come on.
This man doesn't care. This man is a honey badger. We're gonna be here all night, apparently. There are many ways to skin a cat, in the proverbial sense, which mostly means inflicting significant harm to Cormac. I like that the diary updates to tell you how bad of a job you did. Well, this has turned out to be a very interesting save file, that's for sure.
Hey.
Yeah?
Any...
That rope doesn't look too thick.
Got any...
Okay, so if you talk to Jake first, you establish that you want to cut the rope, and that enables you to tell him to shoot the guy down. Which is funny, because that was like a thing I was like looking for the game to let me do early on, and it wouldn't, because I didn't do it in that specific order.
What happened? He's caught on...
What an insane little, like,
Do you have
component of this game. What a weird, isolated chapter. It's interesting that we can still say that we need some help from her.
I've got nothing.
I have nothing to ask him. Give knife to him.
Perfect. I can throw it and cut our friend down.
You good with knives, then?
Oh, sure. Even used to do some knife and axe throwing in my show. But audiences prefer the gunplay.
Okay, listen. It's obviously not the correct thing to do.
Time to reprise your knife-throwing act. Wow us.
Like, just drop him into the abyss. See, that time he has both his shoes. That's the good ending.
Cormac, are you alive?
What do we do?
Next, can we have the Morris gun? I'm gonna need your gun again, Lieutenant Kim. I think that's my favorite line of dialogue in that game, which isn't a surprise. That seems like a very popular one.
Lucky also.
Suppose it's all right. Still.
Come on.
Sure you...
Yes, sir. Cormac and hand. Good.
Hey, wait! Did anyone else notice that? I wasn't paying attention. He didn't have his shoe when he fell, even though we cut the rope in such a way that he should have both shoes. Yeah, why is he still missing the boot? That is, like, genuinely, that is a surprising lack of attention to detail for what I've seen from this game. That's, like, clearly a bug of sorts.
Hey.
Yeah?
Any...
Okay, this time, like, I think the correct thing is simply to have him get lassoed and then cut him down. There may be another step, but, like, it's not clear to me without failing it once.
Sorry to interrupt.
What is it?
There was a snake in his boot. Oh, that's what caused the problem in the first place? That makes sense.
Do you have... Sure. Could
I think that was an era-appropriate issue that came up a lot. So I want to be very clear that this thing I'm trying now is the thing that I was actually intending to do the first time. Excepting for the fact that it was not remotely clear to me that, like, the only options of, like, use knife anywhere near rope directly are all insane and, like, obviously lead to fail states.
I got this knife from...
Perfect.
You good with knives, then?
Oh, sure. Even used to do some knifing.
I mean, it feels like there should be a better way or place to lasso him, but I don't think that's available, given what I've seen from these options.
You got him! Let's pull him up, quick.
I think the game liked that. It made a slightly happier jingle, despite the fact that he's, like, basically still
That were
screwed.
a close one. You've saved Cormac. Many thanks.
It was nothing.
Are you all right? We have a healer with us if you need doctoring.
Nah, no need to trouble yourself.
There's an achievement for that one. So, yeah, 2 boots, which it feels to me like the 2 boots was just supposed to be the win condition, and so even though they create another scenario where you should have 2 boots, it just renders like the same fail cutscene where it only has the 1 boot. So, do we just shamelessly have saved scum? Like, at a certain point, again, this just became, like, academic. Like, I just wanted to see how many bad things I could do to this poor man. Why are you doing this work by yourself?
How come you're doing this clearly dangerous work on your own?
It's not so bad. Cormac's used to this sort of thing. Cormac used to be a sewer worker in New Britannia, you see. It's all the same,
That
really.
feels
Digging
relevant.
around in muck, tending to machinery. But
Because the
Cormac's
other one
got
also
friends
emphasizes that his old job used to be
Mud's
bad.
much nicer to be covered in than sewage.
It was nice seeing all this in it. Like, okay, serious question. Like, cause is that our new stated goal? Is like when we find one of these obvious paths, should we just try and explore what all of them are like? Or like, do we have a preference to like try and like set our own path? I don't know. Cause like I'm interested in seeing these things.
Before we go, anything else you're in need of?
Well, you said you was passing through. Whereabouts are you headed?
El Presidio.
In that case, you'd be doing Cormac a great favor if you took this letter to someone at Vespuccia Petrol. Their office is in El Presidio.
Vespuccia Petrol, you say?
Aye, they's Cormac's employer. Been wanting a progress report on this rig.
Sure, we'll take the letter.
Appreciates it.
All right, we'll
He
be going
conjugates
now.
his sentences
Promise
like he
we'll take
doesn't
more
speak
care.
English as a
Aye,
first language.
Cormac will do his best. Farewell, and thanks again for helping old Cormac.
Just be grateful we collapsed the waveform in your favor, friend. I shouldn't need this one. I don't want to have infinite save files. Let me do a new save. Okay. I think it comes down to whether the options would be entertaining. That's interesting. That's interesting. That's not a huge departure from how we've been playing so far. I think I like that as like a intermediate between brutally wanting to see everything in the game and grinding it to a halt and exploring options that are interesting. I mean, feasibly that could warrant going back to the sneaking save file and like not having to blow up the lab. I mean, I'll say this. Time sections are not my favorite. I complain about them frequently. Even though this game has been doing an increasing number of them, I still feel like I think the key thing is that it's doing them to accomplish interesting things and to try and put pressure on what have largely been simple exercises. Now, would I still prefer a more traditional adventure game scenario in which time is not a factor? Personally, yes, but I do think that it opens up something interesting that really wouldn't be possible in a game like this without a timer. So, like, I'm torn. What I will say is, I do genuinely feel like it wasn't a lot of time to do the first Cormac attempt. Like, to try and, like, ascertain everything you need to do, including the absolute clownery of, like, the only way to cut him down is to, like, throw the knife in some fashion. Like, there's just something so preposterous about that. Like, it just seems like there has to be a better way. Like, I know they want to incorporate, like, the cowboy nonsense, but, like, come on, it's very silly. So, like, the fact that, like, even if I had assembled all the items and not tried to, like, the thing that hung me up on that first attempt was, like, trying to explore the space and see if I was missing something that would be safer, that, because, like, ultimately what we end up doing still doesn't seem very safe. Like, the good outcome is still dropping him, like, unceremoniously into, like, a deep pit, and he would, like, slam into the wall and, like, be injured for sure. Like, that's not, like, a secure thing to do. But, like, so even accepting that I just, like, make the assessment really quickly that that's, like, the correct thing to do is simply lasso him and cut him down, like, I think there's very little chance that I assume that rather than just, like, use knife like a normal inventory item, that I should click knife on Gentleman Jack and, like, have him just, like, tell me that he's good at knife tricks and that he can do this or whatever. Because, like, again, like, I feel like the worst case scenario for that should be I lasso him or don't, I click on him with the knife, and, like, we, like, briefly discuss in, like, a time-locked section, because we've committed to an action, what courses of action we have. And it's genuinely insane for Gentleman Jack to just be like, I kind of just wanted to see if you'd actually drop him. Lol, you did. Like, that's not an appropriate response to the situation in front of us if you have any intention to help. Like, that's just bananas. Like, there's certain things I understand that we will make, like, the conceit of for a video game. That is not human behavior. That is something insane. I think time sections work in an adventure game. Cormac was based on a number of actions rather than time. That may be true if you count changing screens as an action. But I think one of the times we tried that, he dropped even though we were idle on his screen. I'm not totally sure how it works, but I think there may be a literal time component to it. But it tackles the common issue with adventure games being to interact with everything and use everything on everything else. I think it's interesting to have a few problems where you have to make choices. Yeah, that's kind of what I was getting at. It's like, it's not my favorite personally because I kind of like adventure games for allowing you to do that sort of thing, that the puzzle is in focus. But I have a lot of respect for the way the game is largely using it so far. The thing is, I can largely see it becoming irritating if it became like really frequently used. Like if a really high percentage of the puzzles were done that way, I would definitely lose patience with it. And yeah, like personally, like I get that there's a sense of urgency here, but again, coming from like a world where I've played a lot of adventure games and very few do stuff like this, I would not be opposed to the game being very clear about like, you know, that you're in a time section. And to be fair, you know, one of the time sections today was like ransacking the museum that they made out of Dr. What's-His-Face's stuff. And like when you go in that room, she says something like, I better hurry. I don't know how long he'll be gone. And like that read to me, and I made a save there, and I got caught, and I didn't save scum that. But like this one was a little bit trickier because it wanted such a nuanced solution, and also because I really do think there's something kind of goofy about the Jack thing. Like I'll be honest about that. Like I'm not trying to rake this game over the coals over doing the time stuff. It's a personal gripe of mine that like I just specifically don't like time puzzles. But like setting that aside, I do think there's something genuinely kind of weird about the Jack element where like you should assume that like that's just like not an intuitive way to go about that stage of that multi-stage process. That said, I probably indulged a little bit too much in exploring that, but I think it's an interesting thing to consider going forward, and we'll have to weigh that among future things. For now, let's go ahead and wrap up the stream, which of course means that we must seek secret Squirtles. Somewhere in the room behind me, amongst the various friends who you see on full display, I have hidden some number of secret Squirtles. If you're new here, locating a Squirtle in this fashion will be an omen of good luck for you in the coming days. So I encourage you to look around, see where you think a Squirtle might be hiding, and let me know. And then we'll seek out those Squirtles together. Always hated time puzzles, but we wouldn't have gotten that entertaining section with Cormac without it. That's true. That's true. I mean, hopefully I'm making myself clear, because I know I like to gripe about games and sometimes be a little unnecessarily hard. And like, there's really only one thing in that section that I think is actually objectionable, and it's not like the end of the world, but like depending on how important the consequences of that are, like it's kind of annoying how like weird that knife throwing bit is. But like, yeah, like you don't get a section like that without the time puzzle. And like I respect that they're exploring that space, even though it's a space I don't typically like. You enjoyed how sleepy the Easter friend is at the bag? Oh yes. I tried to display the sleepy sheep because it's hard to get a good view of that. I'm glad you've enjoyed that. Let's see, what are our guesses here? Teddy Ursa has been smiling. Yep, he's been hanging out. And our bear holding Volpe. That one's is flare. It's hard to tell because my head's in the way and whatever. But that was it's a little flare. I'll show that off because I like showing off the flare on. Nega, did you? Oh, see so behind College Bridge flare. Okay, great. Good guesses. Good guesses. Let's start back here because we got two guesses. And I'll show off my flare. No, please rotate. It's Flareon. This is our little Flareon. It's a new acquisition, and I keep showing off because I love it, so it's so fluffy. Hiding back there is a somewhat similarly scaled Squirtle. Congrats on that. And behind Teddy Ursa, here on the desk, and underneath our sleepy sheep, is another Squirtle. I bet the theme is friends holding tiny friends. No, the theme this time, bears. All the bears had Squirtles. And you all just chose two bears. Lucky you. Thanks everyone for watching. I hope you're continuing to enjoy Rosewater. I really, I don't... The story structure of this game is so very unusual that I really don't know what the scale of it is, or even most of the time what thing to expect next. I'm really intrigued by it. I'm not... I don't know what my final impressions of this game will be, but I still feel very strongly positively about it. It says a lot for me to encounter, like, a secret timed element in a game and, like, not be furious about it. Because, like, I hate them. So, like, hopefully that comes across as, like, to me, I'm enjoying this a lot. I guess the thing I'll say is this. I generally like, for a game of this type, to have primarily, like, deliberate and educated choices about changing the story. Like, for example, punching out that guy, knowing that he might be salty about me in the future, and that, like, maybe the sheriff will be mad in the future. But, like, trying not to pay that guy because I don't like him. Like, that sort of things. Like, I know full well that could blow back on me, but, like, I am making that choice consciously. As opposed to things like getting locked out of the museum because you don't find, like, a specific hidden item in time, and then, like, having to, like, destroy, like, a major location. Like, I think that's fine, but, like, it's not my favorite thing. If that comes across correctly. I'm also, like, I continue to be very pleased with the choice not to help Phil. Not because I don't like the character, but I think it's way more narratively interesting. Both, it was really funny in the moment to just, like, act like we weren't fazed by a guy who fell out of the window. And also, I think it has created a really interesting character dynamic. So, like, there's really a lot to love here. Like, I can see a world where, like, it does something or some things that will make me annoyed in the long run, but I struggle at the moment to think of a world where, like, ultimately I will, like, strongly dislike this game. But we'll see. We'll see how it plays out. We'll be back playing this tomorrow, same time, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. I hope you'll be able to join me then. Also, let's see. I think we're definitely streaming next Friday. I have to give some thought about Saturday. Next Sunday, I have a big concert to go to. I got my parents' tickets for Christmas, parents and myself, to one of my favorite international artists, Kylie Minogue, is coming to Orlando. And I've been looking forward to that one for a while. And it'll be a chance to check out a new venue. Tomorrow. No, we're doing tomorrow after I posted something about this on the Discord, but after... Actually, I guess I didn't. I think I texted that just to my mom. But basically, I was looking into doing a Magic the Gathering pre-release for this upcoming set, Tarkir Dragonstorm, and found that, like, the vast majority of the available times were, like, inconvenient. Like, even though, like, I could have skipped tonight to go to one, I would have had to, like, book it out of here without eating dinner immediately after work to have a chance to get there in time. It just wasn't going to, like, work out extremely well. And then there's, like, one, like, tomorrow that's, like, pretty late that would also mean canceling that stream, but, like, it doesn't sound terribly appealing either. And what I found is that there is a Wednesday night event that I, like, called ahead, and the guy was like, "We never fill up, please show up." It's like, okay, that one fits my schedule. I'm going to try that. We'll see how it goes. Thanks, everyone, for watching. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being you. Hope to see you again soon. If it's tomorrow night, we'll be playing more Rosewater and see what happens. If it's sometime in the future, we got a lot of stuff to look forward to this year. We got a new Somnium Files game. We got that train adventure game. We got Old Skies coming up soon. It's just, there's a lot. It's all of a sudden, it's a huge year for gaming in contrast to last year, which I found fairly disappointing. Personally, plenty of games came out that people cared about, but, like, I was, like, struggling to find, like, new exciting stuff for the stream and really dipped into nostalgia, which was fine for me. Not complaining about that, but just, like, the reason I ended up leaning so hard on old games last year was, like, there was not a lot coming out that was of interest to me. So, yeah. Have a great night, everyone. Thanks for watching. Take care of yourselves and remember that you are clawsome.